Hello, hello! Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Chess.com Preseason Cup with Anichess. I'm super excited to host today's event because all the way from the qualifiers, we're now at the final day. Only 4 players remain in this tournament, and today we'll find out who is going to be the winner of this amazing event. My name is Women International Master Annemai Kazarian. I am very used to chess. I play chess as my main game, so Anichess is a bit new to me. It's a little bit different than normal chess, but that's why I'm joined by the expert in Anichess, John. Welcome, John. Thank you so much for joining me. Please introduce yourself to the audience and how
Awesome.
excited are you for today?
Yeah, what a great introduction. By the way, I'm John F. Dong. I'm one of the participants before for the first Anichess tournament here in the Philippines. So I'm happy to be with you here in this live stream of the Chess.com preseason cup with, this game Anichess. Yes, it's another variant of chess, but this time it's going to be magical. And I hope these 4 players can give us an expendable game tonight. So yeah, let's start this, shall we?
Yeah, let's go. Let's take a look at the participants. Qualifiers go down to 64 players in the playoffs, and now we're down to the final 4. We will be starting with 2 semifinals. We'll have first here Kuro, if I pronounce it correctly, against Portgas and Najdorf, who I have been told is a grandmaster in chess from the
Yeah,
Netherlands, even. So I should
I
know
believe
this
so.
person, but I don't know them. Against
It's quite
Gray.
anonymous.
Yeah, I assume they were anonymous. Are you familiar with these players? How well do you know them?
Actually, I'm familiar with Portgas. Before he wasn't part of YGG, but I competed against him in one of these tournaments from the past. So I'm confident that he's going to kind of nail this one. But yeah, we don't know what will happen tonight. So good luck to all of these participants for this finals.
Absolutely super exciting. Let's go over the match format because in the semifinals, each match is going to be a best of 3 series. So whoever wins 2 games wins and goes on to the finals. And then after that, we will also have a loser. Well, loser final is not really nice to say. We'll have a match for the 3rd place. That sounds much nicer. And then finally, the grand final where the top 2 players will fight to win first place. And yeah, if the games somehow end up tied after 2 games, a 3rd game will be acting as a tiebreaker, and no draws will be allowed.
Yeah, actually. So here's how it works. There are 9 total spells here in Anichess. So in every best-of-3 match, each player must choose 3 different spells. Again, there are a total of 9 spells, so they have to use 3 different spells each round. And once a spell is used in a match, it cannot be selected again in future rounds. Yes, actually, this is kind
All
of
right.
difficult. So here's the total spells that you can actually use. Again, there are a total of 9 spells. So maybe we can discuss it for the meantime. We have Slip, Tactical Necessity, Parker Mech, Shot in the Dark, Bishop 2.0, House Recruit, Penguin Dive, Imposter, and Queen Time. But let me just share my favorite meta here. When I joined the tournament, I've used Parker Mech, House Recruit, and Queen Time. But for the sake of new players here in NHS, maybe we can discuss every spells. Maybe you can start with Snip, Anna.
Yes, so I have used the basic ones up until now. So some of the
Mhm.
spells will even be new to me to see how the masters, how the experts will use them today. But in slip, you can move a pawn, knight, or rook diagonally to an adjacent square once during your turn. Can't capture. I have not used this spell just yet. Maybe we'll
Mm.
see it today in the spotlight. Do you think this one is chosen a lot, or is this not very common?
Actually, after several patches, I think Slip is one of these spells that has been used by a lot of players right now because it only costs you 1 mana, and at the same time, you can steal 1 mana from your opponent. So let's say your opponent has like 7 mana, and you don't want your opponent to use the Queen Time because Queen Time is one of those metal spells in Anichess. Definitely use Slip so that the Queen Time cannot be used in the remaining moves. That's why people or the players here in Anichess are using sleep spell at the moment. Next, maybe we can talk about
Oh.
tactical necessity. Yes, this is one of the. I think this is one of the new spells that has been added after the tournament that I've joined. So, tactical necessity: you sacrifice a piece to destroy the opponent's piece of lower rank, except for kings and pawns. So, the piece ranking is queen is more than rook or greater than rook. Rook is greater than bishop. Bishop to king to knight rather. Sorry, and to pawn. So you can exchange your queen to rook, something like that. And if you want to change or to sacrifice your rook to bishop, you can also do that. So yeah, it's one of the tactical spells that you can actually use in a match. But right now, I don't know how these players can use this, so I'm really excited to see them use this one.
Okay. Parkour match is one of my favorites because when with this spell you can transform a piece into a knight, and obviously the most beneficial is to swap a pawn and turn it into a knight. So then instead of pawns, you'll have more knights than you should have on the board, which can be really useful. Knights are super tricky, especially in this game. One of the other spells is Bishop, and the bishop can be really tricky as well. As with Bishop, you can leap your bishop over one piece in its path, so you can just jump over one piece. Even though in chess usually the piece would be blocked, blocking the bishop. The bishop could now jump right over it. So the knight and the bishop, it can be both tricky, but with bishop, what I'm not a fan of is after you lose your bishops, then you cannot use a spell anymore. So it's perhaps
Yeah.
not one of the favorites used, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, actually, as for the remaining spells, I believe they can visit anchess.com. We have the entire spells with all the descriptions of it. So yeah, Shot in the Dark, Bishop, House Recruit, Queen Time Imposter, and Pengu Dive. These are all the remaining spells that I am really excited to look forward here in the finals.
Me too. So the players are getting ready. We're about to start with the first semifinal. So the first semifinal will be between Rikuro and Portgas, and I'm looking forward to that match as the players are fighting for cash prizes. So for those who know, we have a big prize fund. First place in this tournament wins $3,000. There's a lot at
Wow!
stake. The players are guaranteed fourth place, of course, and they will win $400 with that. But third place goes home with $1,000. So if you win your semifinal match, you're guaranteed already actually to win $2,000, which is the second place. So there's a lot
Mhm.
of cash prize at stake. There's a lot of money at stake, and that's why the games are, yeah, they're high stakes. So there's a lot at stake, and yeah, it's going to be super exciting to follow these matches.
I totally agree with you with this, Anna. Actually, I have my bias here since I meet Portgas for like a couple of tournaments way back in basic chess, and right now here in Anti Chess, we're still competing. So yeah, I'm gonna be biased with Portgas. So for me, it's going to be Portgas, but I guess you go with your bias as well.
Yeah, so I've seen that except Naidorf, all three other participants are from the Philippines. So that was really interesting to see that there's one that is from the Netherlands and the rest is Philippines. So it's quite a coincidence that I'm also commentating as a Dutchie myself. So I guess there is some bias here, but of course I try to be objective. But I'm curious to
Yeah,
see how
yeah.
Naidorf will do here because yeah, I have not seen him playing so far, but of course, being a grandmaster helps a lot in Anichess. And speaking of grandmasters, John, look at the screen what we have here. We will have none other than Magnus Carlsen playing Anichess against Erik
Wow.
Hansen. This match will commence on the 13th of March, and
Mm-mm.
they will be playing against each other, and we will be live streaming this on this channel. Magnus will be streaming it, the Chess Bra will be streaming it, and this is going to be super exciting to follow.
Exactly. I'm excited how these phenomenal chess players can use these anti-chess spells, especially with how they think. Because I myself, I consider myself as an amateur. That's why I want to see how they will use all these spells in the chessboard, not just in physical chessboard, but in anti-chessboard.
Exactly, because Anichess, what makes it so unique is that even though grandmasters are very strong at chess, but that doesn't
Mhm.
necessarily translate to Anichess. An amateur, a much lower rated player can defeat GMs quite easily due to the fact that the spells can change the game so much. And being a grandmaster helps, but may not guarantee the win, as it may kinda be the case in normal chess.
Totally agree with you on that. Actually, there's a lot of competitions, and at the same time, there's a lot of opportunities. Whether you're a beginner or you're just starting to play Anichess, you have a chance to defeat like a title master or title player here in Anichess. That's why most of the players here in the Philippines, they are trying to understand and to learn how Anichess works. And right now, there's a growing community here. That's why we're really rooting for this game, Anichess.
Oh, that's so exciting. That explains also why we have three players from the Philippines in the finals today. And yeah, it's great to see that the game's also community driven. I heard that the community gives feedback to the spells, and spells are changed here and there to adjust to the community needs. So that is amazing to hear. So the voice of the community is heard, which is always really nice.
Yeah, it's actually a healthy communication between the devs and the community, because the community asked for this, asked for revision, asked for like a help from the devs, and the devs listen. So that's why this relationship is growing and it's really healthy. That's why people here again in the Philippines are loving Anichess more than chess, just to be honest with you.
Awesome. So, just to quickly go over some of the basics of Anichess, because I am assuming that a lot of the audience, at least on my channel, are not super familiar with Anichess. In at least chess is similar to Anichess. There is, of course, it's based on chess, but there are some differences. So, the goal of
Actually,
Anichess is to capture the king. We don't checkmate the king. Well, it could
yeah,
work, but then you have to capture it on the next turn. And because of the spells, that may not just happen. There are a lot of twists with the spells, as we already discussed some of the spells. And yeah, I'm curious to see which spells will be chosen by the players. In my games, I often saw the same spells come back. So let's see if the players will come with a different mix, or maybe they prepare against the other player. And I believe our first game is starting now, John.
yeah. Actually, it's game on. So yeah, they played e4 and e6. Let's discuss first the spells that's been used by Kuro. Parker Mech, House Recruit, and Queen Time. As you can see, it's still the meta until now. Parker Mech, House Recruit, Queen Time. Yeah, this was the
Right.
meta way back in the first tournament, and until now, it's the meta. Or probably they use this because it's very familiar to them, and at the same time, since they cannot use this on the next succeeding rounds, so it's going to be very challenging for both of them.
Right. And I learned with queen time, you have to be really careful with your queen, because if you start to develop your queen early, it can suddenly be captured by a knight, which is it can be placed diagonally away from you. In chess, the knight does not capture diagonally, but with this spell, with queen time, the knight can suddenly move like a queen and then capture the queen all of a sudden. So you have to be really careful with advancing a heavy piece such as a queen early on. And that is also why the players are taking it easy here. We see some developments, but mostly a solid setup from both sides.
Actually, Queen Time was the most favorite spell before, because not just you can capture queen, but before you can actually capture the opponent's king. But right now, after several patches, you can only use it to capture a queen, since it's the most highest rank here in the chess board right now, and that's why probably they use House Recruit, because they want to pair it with Parker Mech. They can actually put pressure on the opponent by putting a lot of pawns on the sixth rank, and then later on replace it with a knight. So as we can see here in the opening, I think this is safe for the meantime. They're currently gathering their spells. I mean their mana to provide for their spells later on. And yeah, I don't think there's an advantage at the meantime. They are both developing their pieces here in the middle game.
Right, and by playing in one move, the players are stacking up mana. So one move equals 1 mana, and you can stack up to 8 mana in total. So the players have already accumulated up to 8 mana. Both they are capped at 8, and as soon as they will use a spell, it will remove from that balance. So both players are able to use the Queen Time spell now, but obviously that's way too early. There's not much going on just yet, as you said. And one funny thing is that you mentioned that it's common to put pawns on the 6th rank. I have noticed
Yeah.
that a lot of the players, at least in my games, they would treat it as a bug house game. I don't know if you're familiar with bug house. It's when you're playing in pairs, so it's 2 against 2. So if you capture a piece
Mhm.
on your board, you can pass that piece on to your partner. What happens is they start sacrificing so many pieces, especially on the 6th rank where you can like, place pawns to open up the king's position of the opponent. And because of that, it's really tempting to do that here in Anichess too. And what you
Mhm.
need in
Mhm.
order to protect your king is pawns. So that's why House Recruit is such an important spell, I think, because if your opponent starts attacking you, how do you defend? You at some point you will start running out of defenses, and that's when pawns become so important.
Yeah, totally agree with you on that. And by the way, in this position, Rikuro takes the pawn on c7 because he has like 8 mana. So he can use queen time after queen takes to c7. So this actually adding more pressure to the game. You just, you just not care about your king, but you also have to take care of your queen. Because in normal chess, if you lose your queen, you're good as lost, right? That's why in this game, it's pretty important that you really take care of the queen. So there's like sacrifice, there's exchanges right here, and it's really getting complicated and yeah, pretty exciting right now.
It feels like the every piece on the board is just hanging right now. As you mentioned, after bishop takes c7, if black now takes on c7, so you pointed out that white can use queen time. They will use queen time
Yeah.
and they will put it on the knight on c3 so that it can suddenly move like a queen and capture on c7,
Mm,
which is crazy to imagine. So
yeah.
even though black has not moved the queen, it is already in danger. But black has a nice counter move. Bishop takes f3, and now it's on white to decide what to do about this because now white's queen is also hanging.
Actually, they have both hanging queens. For the meantime, it's up to white if he's going to take it. But yeah, he takes the bishop on f3. Let's see what Porteous will reply once this move happens. So still, the bishop on c7 is attacking the queen. Queen takes c7. Now let's see if Hirikuro will use queen time to take it. Oh, he did. He did take the queen on
Oh,
c7.
the first spell has been casted, and the second spell right there, queen
Oh,
time also has been used, and the rook. It felt like a bishop move, but it was moving like a queen, which also moves diagonally. But
yeah.
yeah, both queens are now off the board. But white
Mhm.
is ahead on material now.
Actually, right now, I think Port Gas is just hanging here on his chances that he can actually king slay or slay the king of the opponent since he's down with, I don't know, material advantage for white, but not really an advantage at all since we have spells. So yeah, let's see what's going to happen next.
That knight is looking very scary on d2 now.
Yeah,
Let's
very
see
clever.
what black has in mind now, because the knight does not have anywhere to go. It can capture the bishop on b3, but I'm not sure it's a good idea.
Yeah, actually, that's the only option he can do aside from, yeah, he did the house recruit on e3. That's the beauty of this spell. You can add this additional pawns on the third to sixth rank. Pretty
I
amazing.
love this. That pawn on g6 also looking very scary now. Attacking the pawn on f7. What do you do about that? Both kings are in trouble, but I'm fearing for the white king actually, because now knight h5 attacking the pawn on f4. It's getting really tense. But now black has to move the king, and he moves the king to h8.
Yeah, actually, this is really exciting, and at the same time, we don't know what will happen next since they both have House Recruit and Parker Mech spells. They both have three manas, and right now White can actually add a knight, and he did it on D3, guarding the pawn on F4. And yeah, the game continues.
What a mess. Knight to e6, attacking the rook on f8, but now it is allowing rook takes f7. Does White have some discovery attack in mind, perhaps?
Yeah, actually, there are some tactics right here, but since we have the knight on D2, he can actually just take the bishop on B3 if he do that. Oh, knight takes to D4. Okay, Portgas
Oh,
took
check
the pawn on
first.
F4. Yes, check, but actually there's no check, but you have the option to allow the opponent to take your king.
Yeah, it's so funny. I'm so
So
used to seeing it as a check, so that's why I have to do something about the check. But in Anichess, you don't have to do anything
yes,
about a check. But the problem is if you don't do anything about it and you don't capture the king on the next turn, then your king will be captured. So that's the beauty of Anichess.
actually, yeah, and it also contributes to the spells. Let's say you have like a disadvantage in material since you have Parker Mech, you can just spawn a knight, replacing your pawns. But right now we can see that there's like a threat that's happening here by adding that pawn to F3, but still the knight on D2 for Portgas is still hanging. And there's like, discovery on bishop to D6 whenever the knight moves from D4. So this is really complicated and getting exciting at the moment.
Yeah, and I'm really worried for Black over here because Black is running out of pieces. White is still ahead material, a full rook, and if the attack dies out for Black, then White will be able to come back and simply enjoy a winning position being up material. Would you say that being up material is very crucial on chess, at least at this stage, or it can still go anywhere?
For me, I think material advantage is still quite important, even though you're playing basic chess or chess, because like
Mm-hmm.
in this position, if you have material advantage, you get more chances of winning, and you have more piece to defend or to attack, which is why it's still very important to take care of your material if you have the chance to.
Absolutely. And one thing to note to the audience is that because the Queen Time spell can only be casted once, this means that since the players already used it, they cannot play it anymore in this game. That's it, only one time. So that's why they are left with the other spells for now. And I'm curious to see if Black's attack will lead to something. But that pawn f2, it's looking quite dangerous for the king, but Black is missing quite a few pieces. I'm not sure if the attack will prevail here.
Yeah, actually, the white pieces, like he has a rook on A1 as well, but it's not that useful at the moment. But still, it's a material advantage. Although black has like pawns on F2 and F3, but we're not sure if this is going to secure a victory for black. Which is why white has, to defend himself, to provide a really good defense for this.
I'm interested to see what Black's idea is, putting that pawn on f3 now. Oh, the time ran
Oh,
out.
time.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was so unexpected. White was low on time,
yeah,
so
yeah.
Black was just making moves quickly. That is a
Yeah, but congrats to
heartbreaker.
Podcast. Actually, he did quite a great pressure on that. That's why Rikuro didn't manage to check on his time, and he lost by timeout.
Wow, and that goes to show White had two rooks that were still on the first rank, not able to do much, and Portgas still managed to win that and made it really difficult for his opponent. So great work by
Mm,
Portgas, who is now 1 point ahead. And if he wins
yeah,
the next game, he'll be through to the next round.
actually. Oh, by the way, we have a question here. Are we surprised that both players choose the same three spells as discussed a while ago? These are the meta spells here in Anichess. the Parker Mech, the House Recruit, and the Queen Time. So the reason why they use that is because, again, that's to put pressure on your opponent. And as you can see, the White may have a material advantage, but it didn't secure his victory, which led him to a timeout, and Portgas won that match.
Wow, and that goes to show the game can go anywhere. Even if you're down material, you can still win. And despite the fact that the game was decided based on the time, Black was still creating quite some threats despite the lack of material. So that was really awesome to see. And yeah, I'm curious to see if we will see if we see them come back, if we'll see here Kuro come back as he's now down 1 point in this match. And as the match format shows, each match is a best of 3. So the next game will be very important to see if Portgas will advance to the finals or if we will have another game as a tiebreaker.
Yeah, actually, another pressure that adds here is that there are a total of 9 spells, right? And they've used 3 of it, so they have like 6 spells left. Now, the question is, have they practiced the other spells? Because most of the time, way back in the previous tournaments, we were allowed to choose the same spells for each round, and this is kind of challenging for players right now here in the finals because they have to use different spells. So if they haven't practiced using other spells, definitely it's going to be a very difficult match for both of them. However, if Kuro managed to practice all of these spells, he may have a chance to to get another point or to get a 1 point from this, so that they can have like a tiebreaker match.
Yeah, it's actually quite surprising that they both chose kind of the 3 most used spells already in the first game. So now they cannot reuse them anymore, she said. So they have to resort to other spells. So yeah, it's interesting they stuck to the meta for the first game. And now that the first game is over, now we have to resort to other ones. It doesn't really feel good. Something feels off.
Yeah. Actually, and speaking of, let's talk about this game number 2. And right now they have different spells. So let's discuss about Portgas' spells right now. He used Bishop 2.0, Pengu Dive, and Imposter against Kuro that has Tactical Necessity, Shot in the Dark, and Bishop 2.0. So what are your bets right now, Anna?
Ooh, I love seeing the mix here. This is what we want to see because now this is getting very spicy. It's interesting that both players chose Bishop, which is if you have the bishops, it's amazing. So right now with Bishop B5, White is already threatening to capture the king. I believe you can still capture the king with the bishop. I think in my own games I let this happen a lot of times, but neither of us would notice this, but with Bishop, you can actually capture the king. But since White does not have 4 mana yet, they cannot do that right now. That was very clever by Kuro.
Actually, it's one thing that you really have to be careful with, especially if your opponent has a bishop. Make sure that his bishop is not facing your king, or maybe your queen as well, because you have to protect all of your high-ranking officials here. Right now, that knight to c6 is very clever defending the king on e8 because bishop is now can be used by Portgas because he has 4 mana in his mana. So yeah, this is still the opening stage. However, Kuro has a Tactical Necessity and a Shot in the Dark. So he has to be careful as well with this Shot in the Dark because anytime if Kuro decides to use that and attacks his queen and he doesn't know where that piece is, definitely that can have a very tricky happenings here in the board. It's going crazy.
Yeah, so you can turn with Shot in the Dark, you can turn a piece invisible, and if you make a move that is basically crossing that piece, that invisible piece, you'll be capturing that piece. That was so crazy to find out. When I was once in an endgame, then all of a sudden I, without knowing or without realizing, I captured a piece that was invisible. So that's why anything can happen with the spell. It can create so many exciting positions, and yeah, a lot of unexpected things may happen.
Yeah, actually, I am excited how they will use this penguin dive as well. Oh, imposter's spell has been used. So, yeah, Portgas
Ooh.
used imposter from the bishop to b3 to g7. That's attacking the rook on h8. And at the same time, he can actually put his bishop on f6, adds more pressure. And at the same time, he can also use bishop later on if black cannot move his queen from d8.
This is
I'm correct.
amazingly played by Portgas. That bishop is so strong, and that bishop on b3 now went to c4. It's terrible. I mean, black is stuck with two light squared bishops now. White has two dark squared bishop, but white's position is looking very promising as the dark squares of black are extremely weak.
Yeah, and this is where it gets really complicated for black. So Portgas has 4 mana, and after black moves here, he can actually use Bishop 2.0 to capture the queen on d8. But black prevented it with tactical necessity, exchanging the rook to bishop. Very great move from black.
Ooh, there we see tactical necessity in action, which makes a lot of sense because that bishop was a monster piece on f6. Especially as we talked about it previously, bishop being around the corner, that spell is very dangerous. That queen was hanging on the 8. So now, yeah, more or less a balanced position, but it did cost black a rook there.
Yeah, quality down for black. But right now, Portgas replied with d3, attacking the bishop on c4, and replied by b4, attacking the knight on c3. This is very clever because if you have a bishop skill, you really have to take the bishop of your opponent. So look at that, Pengu dive has been used. So knight c3 to e5. That's really awesome. That's a great use of this spell, Pengu dive.
Wow, the knight is on a much better square now because on c3 it was not able to do much. And yeah, black's position is just not great at all. The pieces are so stuck. The bishop on b5 has no place to go. But is there en passant possible now?
Yeah,
He
right
doesn't
now,
go for it.
black replied,
Interesting.
mm-mm, takes the knight on e5, and yeah, somehow he saved his bishop to c6. But still, we can see that black's position is kind of crippled. So yeah, developing these pieces are really helpful in adding pressure to your opponent. So I think for Portgas, he have to maintain his bishop since he has like 3 spells available for bishop. So it's quite and it's not going to be useful if he will be eliminating his own bishop as well.
Right. And now the board has cleared up quite a bit, but white is still ahead in material. Um, but yeah, with less piece on the board, I feel like knights are quite necessary to be very tricky around the board, especially with that f6 square that's so weak. You want to put a bishop or a knight there, but now that the light pieces and minor pieces are kind of disappearing off the board, black may be able to recover from the losses. But yeah, it's still looking good for Portgas for now. And also on the clock, he is slightly ahead, which we saw in the previous game is very crucial.
Yeah, speaking of, shot in dark was used. The knight went to d5 and captured the bishop, and bishop spell is now going to be useless for Portgas in this game. However, Kuro has his light squared bishop, so he can still use his bishop spell in the later position.
Ooh, King d7, drastic measures there. And now White's plan is to try to open up the position to get to that king on d7. f3 is a very solid move to try to stop that bishop on c6. With bishop spell around the corner, we want to limit that bishop as much as possible.
Yeah, actually, he has to stop all the mobility of this bishop because bishop 2.0 can be very intimidating if he allows that. So there's like a switch of rooks here, imposter move or spell by Portgas. So black Kuro decided to take the rook on f1, exchange, and here black's queen is kind of active compared to white's because of this check here in c1. Again, there's no checks, but you have to take care of your king to avoid king slay.
Yeah, this is looking dangerous for that king on f1, but it seems like white is surviving that. I wonder what the idea was behind the rook swap, because yeah, the rook on j now is not able to do much. Um, yeah, I'm curious to see what white has in mind here. Perhaps it just wanted to trade pieces. That could also be the case.
Yeah, actually, maybe he wants to slay the king of the black. But right now, what we can see here in the position is that there are many possibilities that may happen, since both of them have these spells. Later on, tactical necessity can be used if that's necessary, but right now it's not going to be very helpful. And wow, you can see that Pengu Dive has been used to move that king from f1 to h3, having like a safe space for the king.
Amazing move, because now the king is safe, away from the queen, away from all the checks, and no longer can black attack that king. Now with the queens off the board, white is looking really good, but it's still not easy because the goal is to capture the king. With the lesser pieces are on the board, the harder it becomes to capture the king.
I agree with you on that. Maybe they're just relying on the remaining spells that they have. And yeah, speaking of remaining spells, for Portgas, he has one use of Pengu Dive and yeah, a very useless Bishop 2.0 because he doesn't have a bishop, but he has a material advantage because he has a rook against a bishop. For Kuro, he has Tactical Necessity, Shot in the Dark, two uses, and Bishop since he still have his bishop.
Bishop is now under attack. The clock is ticking down for both players. They're nearing 1 minute on the clock, and with only 2 seconds increment, it's going to come down to the time here. So Portugas is low on the clock, so he needs to make his moves faster. As yeah, we don't want to see another timeout happen in this game as well.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Right now, we cannot really see who will be on the upper hand, but based on the position, I think White is slightly better in this. Although again, he has material advantage, but we can't really speak who's more in advantage side because of the spells. Right now, Shot in the Dark can still be used. Yeah, just Queen excluded, so you can use it in your King and your pawns. But yeah, let's see what's going to happen next. It's 4 pawns against 3, but Rook versus Bishop.
Yeah, it is difficult with white to make progress here. Because black's position is very solid. And as you said, you have to keep in mind that the spells are still there. And yeah, that's why it's so tricky still. And as the pawns are moving forward, the position seems to be locking up slowly. Black can play the move h6 now, but went for king g7 instead. So yeah, now I can see white making progress on the king side somehow. Either h6 or g6 will be played soon.
Yeah, actually, maybe he's just using his experience in chess. Yeah, because I used to play with Portgas for like couple of age group before, so he's using his basic chess skills right here. Yeah, that's good that he has this vast years of experience in playing chess. Maybe that's the reason why he's doing this. But we have an unstable here.
Yes, we have some
All right.
technical difficulties, but we will bring the
Mm.
board back very soon. The final position we were just looking at, it's looking very tense. Time is getting lower and lower. So I'm curious to see if the rook or the bishop will prevail in this game. But for now, we'll have to wait until we get updates on the game. But
Yeah.
yeah, that game is it's a very important one. It will decide who will advance to the next round, and yeah, it's a very exciting end there with very few pieces left on the board.
Actually, it's really tense because way back when I participated in the actual tournament of Anichess, there's like a lot of people watching you as you play this end game. Oh, speaking of, right now, oh, look at that.
Ooh, that is
Okay,
the bishop is now hanging,
yeah, actually, I don't know
and
what
black is
happened, but
completely losing now.
yeah, actually. So it's sport gas. I'm guessing it's sport gas, but oh, he did the unimaginable. So one incorrect move, white may lose. Oh, he knew.
Oh,
He knew.
he knew exactly what. Wow, that is insane. I would never risk
Yeah,
that.
he could
Wow,
have
he
went to
saw
f4
right
or
through
f6.
him.
Yeah, actually. So yeah,
Wow.
shot in the dark was not was didn't able to trick his opponent. So yeah, it's going to be a win for Portgas. So that's 2-0. Portgas wins the match.
Wow, what an impressive display by Portgas. Definitely deserving to be in the finals. So Portgas advanced to the finals, and we will see Kuro back for the third place match. So we will still see him back in action. But our next semifinal, we're looking forward to that one between Nidorf and Gray, as the winner of that match will be facing Portgas in the grand finals.
Yeah, but for the meantime, maybe let's take a break. And if you guys haven't taken your dinner yet, yeah, go ahead, eat your dinner, or you can eat your dinner while you're watching us later for the next match, Nidorf against Gray YGG.
Step beyond tradition. With a drop of magic. Clash in epic battles, where magic reshapes strategy. Unleash spells to transform the game. Attack! Defend! Trick! Master them all! Ready to duel in the realm of magic?
Cup with Anichess. We had first of all, that trailer video was epic, but we also had an epic semi-final. The first one is in the books between Kuro and Portgas. Portgas advances to the finals, and now we're going to be looking at the semi-final second one between Najdorf and Gray. John, I'm so excited for this one. I want to see Najdorf in the finals. What about you? I think I'm missing. Oh, John, I think you're back.
I'm back.
hear
I'm
you
back.
again.
Sorry, I misclicked.
It's okay. Oh no! Oh no! Welcome back. I was just introducing our second semifinal between Najdorf and Gray. I'm looking forward to this one. What about you? What do you think? What do you think is the favorite here?
Actually, I played against Najdorf for quite some time on some ranked matches, and so far I get like 0 win streak. 0 win streak. So he's really a great player. So against Gray, I think Gray is one of the new players, but based on our records here, he's not really new in chess. So maybe this is an interesting match for both of them. So yeah, good luck for both these players. And yeah,
Yeah.
let the match begin.
Apparently, Gray has a rating, a FIDE rating of nearly 1900. So he is an experienced chess player, but now he's facing a grandmaster with a FIDE rating of about 2500. So it feels kind of intimidating. But we're not playing chess here. We're playing Anichess here,
Anichess,
and that means that anything
exactly.
can happen. The grandmaster title does not mean that much anymore. It is still very much possible to defeat a grandmaster. In fact, as we can see in the bracket on the screen, a number of grandmasters have been taken down, John. When I first saw this bracket, I saw at the very top left, Christopher Yu participating in this event. He is one of the strongest grandmasters in the online chess scene, at least. He has played many online tournaments on chess.com, and I'm sure he has a rating above 3000 online. So to see him being knocked out already was quite crazy to me. So that means that, a lot of grandmasters have participated in this event and have been taken down by players that are not grandmaster level in chess.
Yeah, just so you know, Big Old Doink, I think, is also a titled player, which means that here in Anichess, anything can happen in chess. Speaking of, let's go with our match against between Najdorf and Gray. So let's discuss the spells first. For Najdorf, he uses Slip, Tactical Necessity, and Imposter. For Gray, Tactical Necessity, Parker Mech, and Queen Time.
I love the diversity of the spells, and this makes sense because knowing that there will be a second game in the best of 3, they will have to choose other spells in the next game because they cannot reuse the same spells as they have chosen in the first game. So that changes things, and I'm shocked to see the start of the game, John. What do you think of the first couple of moves here?
Actually, in basic chess or normal chess, we opt to use openings and to follow the opening principles. But here in Anichess, maybe you just have to follow your guts, your instincts, since you're using different spells. If you're using slip, it's more important that you use your pawns to move forward, so that later on, if it's going to have like an end game scenario, you can use your pawn to use this slip spell and promote your pawn to queen. That's why maybe they're using this unusual openings right here.
Wow, that's actually crazy. I mean, we know from Alpha Zero that pushing the H pawn and playing Rook G1, these are kind of newer ideas coming into chess as well. But to see them happen so early on is quite surprising, because now the Rook on G1 is unable to do much. But I have a feeling Najdorf is preventing any sort of tactical play on the king side, because it's really difficult for black now to do much on the king side. It's pretty locked and everything seems well defended. So I like the setup. It's very surprising.
Yeah, actually, one of the reasons why you put your rook to g1 and you have that knight on f3 and you're using an imposter spell is that you're preparing to use that spell in order to use that spell, swapping your rook to your opponent's rook, so that whenever you do that, let's say for example he leaves his rook on the h8 hanging and he's on check, definitely you can win a rook with that spell. But right now he uses slip spell to move that pawn from c4 to d5, attacking the knight on c6. And it's up to Gray where to put this knight, because there's a lot of options for him. But yeah, it's getting serious right here, right now.
Ooh, this is interesting. It makes me wonder. I mean, you have this other spell where you can place a pawn anywhere. So slip and that pawn spell where you can place it anywhere on the board could be quite vital, because I can imagine wanting to put a pawn on e6 now, but that would maybe a bit too difficult without having this spell where you can place the pawns anywhere.
Oh, by the way, I just got the information that Gray is a woman. So yeah, let me correct. So she used she pushed her pawn on c6, but that left the knight on b4 hanging. But I think that's the only option she has right now, and white gained the material advantage for that. It's very difficult.
All right, so it's amazing to find out that Gray is a woman. Even more fun because yeah, she has a FIDE ELO rating. So yeah, I know of her, maybe not, but yeah, that's super exciting to find out. But yeah, back to the game. White played with queen to b4. That pawn on b7 is hanging now, and
It is.
White is able to capture it, but is that I feel a little bit uncomfortable to move my queen so forward in Anichess in the game. So I would be scared. It feels like a poison pawn on b7.
Yeah, actually, it's poison pawn if you do, since Gray has her mana in 7. So she can actually use queen time. If you take the pawn on b7, she can take your queen using her rook with that spell, queen time. But since she used Parker Mech, she has like 4 mana out of 8, so she has to move like 3 times to get 3 additional mana and allow her to use that queen time spell.
Another knight on the board on d6, defending that pawn on b7, but I'm very worried about Black's king here. Black's king is quite exposed. Najdorf has been opening up that king quite well, and it's really difficult to see where Black can find safety. Perhaps Black needs to consider castling, but I don't think Najdorf is gonna allow that so easily.
Yeah, and let's not forget that Najdorf is a master. So yeah, there's a tactical combination right here. Since he has an imposter spell, look at that! The swap for the rook from g1 to a8, checking the king on e8, and at the same time attacking it on the g1. So he has like another material advantage for this. So yeah, it's going to be very difficult for Gray, and I hope she can survive this one. She still has tactical necessity and queen time.
Wow, what a move by Naidov. This is why he started off with Rook G1. This is why. And this is typical Grandmaster stuff. They are thinking ahead at least 10 moves. And we see it
Actually,
back in Anichess as well. So it's amazing to see these kind of strategies that are thought out already in advance. And yeah, Black in trouble, but now Gray, she is trying to put some pressure on the White King with knight e4, threatening queen takes f2. Now in chess, it's amazing because that will be a check, and then you can continue attacking. But in any chess, a check does not mean much. It means that you have to do something about the king, but if you are able to attack the opponent first, or you can use a spell to change the situation, you can do that. But in chess, you have to resolve the check. But here in Anichess, you don't really have to, but if you don't, you have to make sure that your king does not capture it on the next move.
actually, this is a double attack, attacking the queen on b4 and having a threat on f2 square, and white has to do something about that. Also, an additional note, Najdorf is kind of, in time, he likes to think more of his moves. Well, that's very understandable on the perspective of a master, since you have to be precise about your moves, and at the same time, you have to be very careful. But in Anichess, as what we've seen a while ago with Ortiz and his match against Kuro, Kuro has lost because of timed out. So he has to be very careful here. So he replied with queen to b5 check, and Gray moved her bishop to d7, covering that king, while still attacking the pawn on f2, threatening that queen takes f2, attacking the king and the two pieces right there, the f1 and g1.
Yeah, interesting. And as you mentioned, Gray still has the queen time spell available, and ooh, imposter has been. Oh no, not imposter. Tactical necessity has been played.
Yes, awesome, right? This
Wow.
is a move from a master, because it's quite unpredictable, right? It's quite unpredictable. If I will be the one using that, it's not going to be in my arsenal that I'm going to be using tactical necessity. But for a master like Najdorf, oh, he did that in purpose, and he really used that. So knight to f3, defending that f2 pawn, removing the threat.
Yeah, the Black King is quite in danger, I would say. But with the time advantage that Gray has, I really like her situation. She needs to try to hold on and make sure that her king does not get captured somehow as White continues to attack. But with only 30 seconds left for Najdorf, I'm really worried about
30 seconds.
Najdorf's clock here.
Yeah, actually, it really adds up to the pressure of the game, and at the same time, we should not forget that they both have spells still here in the board. So if it's going to be endgame, if they remove their queens and somehow Najdorf can manage to put his pawns on 6th rank, it's going to be dangerous for Gray. And at the same time, Gray still has this queen time spell, so she can actually capture the queen with her minor piece. But again, we don't know what will happen for this position. I'm with Gray.
Yeah, all of a sudden, Gray is in charge of this game. Najdorf has had to take desperate measures here and is playing very passively now to try to hold on to the position. But also with that time, with only 18 seconds now left on the clock, I'm really concerned about Najdorf's position here. Gray is looking very good here.
I agree. So that activation of rook to c8 is actually limiting the mobility of White's pieces. That rook on d8 again, pinning the queen, because the goal is to eliminate the queen and not for White to kind of use all these spells. So right now, he puts his pawn from h4 to g5, threatening f6. So queen to b4 check, gaining that. Oh, by the way, he can now use the spell queen time with that move.
Wow,
Oh,
what a move!
Look at that. Look at that. F6.
Beautifully
G2
played by
F6.
Gray.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I'm starting to
gotta be
believe
careful
maybe
with that
Gray
one.
is also a titled player here in the Philippines. Oh,
Oh, that's amazing. There goes the queen. White only has these 2 pawns left to try to perform a miracle here, but I'm really concerned here. I think Gray has this in the bag.
yeah, actually, she just have to take care of these two pawns because in neither spells he doesn't have the house recruit spell. So for this, you just have to defend it and maybe threat a checkmate on f2. But there's no mates, right? There's just only Kingsley and Black Queens by timeout. And at the same time, she also won in that
Wow!
position. Awesome win by Gray.
Gray won her game against Grandmaster Nydorf. What a game that
Wow!
was! She played
Yeah,
amazing.
she did. She did.
That was amazing.
She
I mean,
she did an
Nydorf
amazing
also
job.
showed us some great Grandmaster strategies here and there, but Gray, she just figured it out. She was able to fight back so well, and she used her spells very efficiently. And that queen time really ruined Nydorf's chances.
Yeah, actually, and this is also adding up to the pressure for the next game because again we have this format that they cannot use the spells that they've used from the previous round. So since we know that neither is a master, let's see how will the next game move forward. Since these are the spells, by the way, in the screen, so um, Nightdorf can practically use all these spells. I believe he have already practiced using all these spells. So let's see how Gray will use her other spells in the next match.
Yeah, let's see. Now that queen time is not possible anymore, but there are so many other spells that are very useful. We'll probably see House Recruit coming up now, which is very important to try to defend your king, because the king gets exposed very quickly, or to attack the opponent. That's obviously also possible by putting pawns near the enemy's king. And yeah, we'll see which spells will be chosen now. But for the audience for the people that are just joining in, the 3 spells that have just been chosen cannot be repicked again by the players. So the players have to choose 3 different spells. There are a total of 9 spells available. And yeah, we're going to the second game. So in case that neither wins this game, then we will go for a tiebreaker. The third game will be a tiebreaker. And then only the 3 remaining spells can be chosen. And those may not be favorable if it gets down to the third game.
Yeah, that's actually pretty exciting if we kind of see that. But if Gray wins this match, she will actually face Portgas in the finals. So again, they have to be very careful. There's a total of 9 spells, 6 remaining spells, and yeah, maybe let's go to the next game and watch how these two will compete against each other. Good luck.
Good luck to the players. I mean, it's interesting to see that in the first game, so Gray was playing with the black pieces, and Portgas also started with the black pieces and won with the black pieces. So it's interesting to see that it doesn't matter so much whether you're playing with the white or black pieces. And yeah, both players won their first game with the black pieces. So now Gray starting with the white pieces. Let's see how she starts, as we have the overview now of the spells they chose.
Yeah, actually, the advantage of playing black is that you have like 1 mana in the beginning of the match. By the way, let's talk about their spells. So for Gray, she has Shot in the Dark, Miss Hop, and Pengu Dive. Now for Nightdorf, he has House Recruit, Pengu Dive as well, and a Queen Time spell. So yeah, I'm excited how this game will proceed. And yeah, they play the D4 game.
Yeah, interesting. So Nightdorf does have the Queen Time spell still available. I really like Nightdorf's set of spells. It looks very powerful. So he may have taken it a little easier on the first game. So now that he is in a must-win situation, he's bringing the big spells into the game and going all in now because he has nothing to lose anymore.
Yeah, as we can see, Shot in the Dark for Dre. she can actually use that one in early game,
Welcome aboard.
since it's going to be tricky, right? But here we see Najdorf use a house recruit to put his pawn in e4, adding pressure and controlling the center here in the board right now.
Yeah, using that house recruit spell early on. I love that spell. The more pawns, the more dangerous or the easier it is to defend your position. And if you look at the position now, black has such a solid pawn structure. Maybe the bishop on state is not very happy, but because of the pawns in the center, it's really difficult for white to infiltrate into black's position.
Yeah, and let's not forget that there's queen time as well. So white has to be very careful of her queen. And yeah, look at that f3 move, trying to break this control on the center by the pawns from black. So let's see how Najdorf will reply in this move. He just takes the pawn on f3.
Okay, one pawn off the board. So now the bishop on f1 opens up. It will be much easier for white to develop the pieces now that pawn on e4 is gone. But black is offering a trade of bishops here. So, I was going to say perhaps the gray wants to trade those bishops, but no, she denies the trade and keeps the bishop on the board.
Yeah, because there's a bishop right there. So, yeah, adding that pin so that there's a threat for the queen. And black replied with bishop to e7 to remove that threat. And also there's penguin dive for both players right here, so maybe they can use this spell at their disposal later on. And that h6 is actually removing that bishop from that square because of its threats of using bishop later on. And yeah, Najdorf really has to be careful here in this game, because if gray wins this match, she will proceed and will going to be fighting against Podcast. But that's going to be a story for later.
Ooh, a shot in the dark. I'm guessing that the bishop went to g6 to threaten bishop takes e8, taking the king. But bishop.
However,
that is
maybe
or b5.
Gray put his bishop on h7. That's actually what I thought.
What?
Because if Najdorf castles, she can take that king on g8. A clever move. Actually, that's a clever move. That's why.
Wow,
That's
so
why
king
Najdorf
f8 was
has to
basically the
eliminate
only
the
safe
bishop.
move. Wow.
Yeah, king f8. It's the safest move. But that disables
Wow,
the.
so king f8 was the force
castling.
move, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, that's the beauty of penguin dive and pairing it with bishop, because you can just switch your bishop side. Let's say you want to be a dark squared bishop. Well, just use penguin dive. If you want to be light squared, use it again.
That's
Since you have,
crazy. I have never played with two bishops of the same color.
Only here in Anichess.
It's crazy. Only here in Anichess this is possible. I mean, in chess, if you really want to, but that rarely happens. It's nearly impossible.
Yeah, look at that. Right now, they're still in the middle game. Yep, with both time below 3 minutes. Oh no, 3 minutes and 12 seconds for Gray, and below 3 minutes for Najdorf. Still, cannot he cannot really judge the game, but again for Najdorf, he has queen time, penguin dive, and 2 house recruit spells. And shot in the dark was used a while ago, so Gray has 2 shot in the dark uses. So a4 was played.
It's so interesting to see how both players are neglecting any sort of castling moves. I mean, black was forced, but here my instincts are telling me I want to play queen d2, long castle, put the king into safety, and develop my pieces further, but it's not happening here. And it makes sense because you don't really want to develop the queen, and you need to focus on other things. You need to take space, you need to threaten things, you need to defend. And the threats are so powerful in Anichess. And there you go. A pawn has been placed on e5, attacking the center even more.
Yeah, adding pressure to that d4 pawn. And at the same time, he's trying to develop the knight from d7. because yeah, let's not forget again that white has a bishop, so basically neither cannot move the bishop from e7 anywhere. That's why he has to move his knight in the center. And also there's pengu dive, so there's many possibilities where this pengu dive can be utilized, especially in getting that queen, because with pengu dive and a queen time, that is a force to reckon with.
Yeah, and now we're really seeing how important House Recruit is, because if Gray had House Recruit, she could easily place the pawns on d4 or d3 and really defend her position well. But now she basically has no center left, and there's a one more House Recruit available from Najdorf, so another pawn will appear at some point, and that is just really difficult to deal with.
Yeah, if we take a look right now in the position of black, the bishop on a6 is really active, and he still has one house recruit. And look at that king going to g8, probably going to h7 and connect the two rooks, make it active. And yeah, we can see how well neither plays this position right here.
Yeah, 92 trying to maneuver that knight to the king side. And now it is white who is playing very passively. It's so interesting to see that in Anichess we see white playing passively so many times, but it has a lot to do with the spells. The spells that are really guiding the game here and changing the pace of how it usually goes in chess.
Yeah, speaking of, as you can see, what Najdorf did is put his king to h7 and activating that rook, activating the queen, and later on, probably he will barrage that center with that pawn. He still has one house recruit, and let's not forget that he has a queen time. So anytime if his minor pieces, connect with that queen from the opponent, definitely he can just take it with a queen time spell. So yeah, for me, this is a space advantage for black, and at the same time, they both have all the spells, so there's lots of possibilities that's gonna happen. And yep, white has an active rook on a1 to a8 file.
Okay, the bishop switches now from a dark square to a light square back to the light square. Makes sense because the dark squares are very well controlled by Najdorf. So now the bishop on c2, potentially threatening bishop f5 to attack the queen, but is also looking at that knight on g6. So let's see what Gray decides to do with this. But for now, she is keeping the rook on the board. Wow, she's not going for that trade.
Yeah, maybe she didn't go for a trade because she's planning like a different one. So instead of bishop f5, she goes with knight f5. Let's see what's gonna happen next, because she still has shot in the dark, so she has options. She can actually use that later on in capturing some pieces like a queen or probably possibly a rook. And with here, we can see that the center is really getting controlled by Najdorf with that f4 house recruit.
White still has both bishops alive, which is very important for that bishop spell. Still waiting to be used. And it's difficult to use this spell. You want to time it right, and obviously the opponent is defending against it, which is guiding the course of the game because of this spell. Black has to be really careful, but once the bishops are gone, the spell cannot be used any longer. At least it has no use anymore, which is why white wants to maintain those bishops as much as possible.
Yeah, actually, you're right. If you have a bishop spell, you must avoid exchanging or trading your bishop against other pieces. You have to keep them as long as you have the bishop spell. And right now, we can see how durable Gray is. Oh, by the way, right now, they both have like 1 minute time mark left. So this is going to add to the pressure. We can see that somehow Gray is trying to survive the control here in the center, but or the time control, Najdorf is less than 50 seconds, so he has to be very careful for this.
Even though Najdorf played so many times House Recruit, it seems like Gray is indeed coming back, as the pawns of Nighter are not really able to march forward anymore. That light squared Bishop of White is so strong, but now it is getting sort of trapped there on g6. Will she retreat it? She does play Bishop h5. She's still holding on, but yeah, Nighter putting pressure now with that d pawn. Let's see how the time scramble will fare for both players. It's getting really exciting.
Yeah. Actually, this is the beauty of having a penguin dive spell, because if you think that your pieces can no longer move in any squares, if there's a penguin dive, there's a possibility that you can actually escape that position. But right now, here with Bishop d4, Najdorf is actually asking for a trade, because if he eliminates one of these bishops, then Bishop spell cannot be used anymore. It's going to be not so useful in this game. And he also attacks that pawn on f4. He has a threat on rook g8, and we can see that. Oh, did you see that penguin dive? That bishop from h5 to h4, changing squares again, right? So that's the beauty of having this spell.
Ooh, invisible move. Shot in the dark has been. Where did that bishop go? Oh,
awesome. That's a great move. So yeah, it's very simple, and at the same time guarding the pawn on f4 and queen g7. Okay, threatening knight takes f4. A lot of things.
9 seconds left for Najdorf.
Yeah, this is
queen is under attack. The queen has to go to f1, I think. Yeah, there goes the
queen
queen.
Time. Queen time.
Oh.
Yeah, it's inevitable, and both of them under pressure.
Yep.
One is under pressure on time, and the other one is under pressure in the position. Still, she has shot in the dark, so maybe she can utilize that spell later on. Okay,
it's looking rough now for Gray, because she has much this time. Oh,
maybe this is the end. Okay, so
yeah, she has shot in the dark, but
yeah, that's
it's
so
only
useful.
temporary, because now bishop g3 still defends. She's still in the game, but the only thing that can allow her to win this game is time.
Yeah, time. But unfortunately, this is like basic chess. So yeah, you just have to checkmate your opponent. And yeah, we don't have checkmate, so you have to slay the king of your opponent. Basic chess. So maybe we can conclude.
What a comeback by Najdorf.
Yeah, he did a great job here. Alright, so black wins. Najdorf wins by king slay. What a great game.
And that means this match is on the 1-1, and we're going to a tiebreak. We're going to the third game of this match, and whoever wins this game will advance to the finals. And now it's very exciting, because not only is this the third game, and this game matters a lot for both players have only 3 spells remaining. They cannot choose anymore. They have to settle with the 3 spells remaining in the game. So
that really adds up to the pressure.
That is not really ideal. Yeah, and we saw Najdorf using a lot of the strong spells already, so there's not a lot left for either player.
Yeah, and this is going to be, like a battle of intelligence, because this will determine which of these players really played these spells, because again, they are forced to use all these spells. That's because of the tournament format. So they've used 6 spells already. Now they're meaning for both of them. They have to use these 3 remaining spells for their final match.
Yes, and this is the final game of the match, as draws are not allowed. It is already very difficult to get a draw in Anichess, because the only way to draw is by threefold repetition or the 50-move rule. There's no such thing as stalemate, because you have to capture the king in order to win. So that's why no draws allowed, but if you want the draw, you really have to force it in Anichess. And obviously, if you're playing, it's a very small chance that you want to go for a draw. There's so much that it can happen in this game of Anichess. So why would you even want to go for a repetition? You know?
Yeah, actually, and I think it's because of the spells. These draws are like, oh, it's not gonna happen because there are spells, which is why most of the time, I think in my history of playing chess, there are like 1 to 2 draws because of repetition, but not because of like stalemates or sort of like that. Because again, there's no stalemates. You can capture the king if he moves to that square. So that's the beauty of chess. If you think it's a draw, no, think again because it might not be
Exactly.
a draw.
Anything can happen. Your down material, your up material, anything can happen in NHS. And we love this about this game. And yeah, this match, especially between Nighterf and Gray, super exciting. Both title players, both having a FIDE rating. And yeah, the match is so close. The score is 1-1. Whoever wins this match will be heading to the final, and whoever loses this match will be still fighting for third place. So earlier we had Portgas advanced final, and we will see Kuro back for the match for third place. And here you see the bracket. We talked about it earlier, the bracket. A lot of masters participated. Someone was wondering if Najdorf is Benjamin Bach, but I believe on the bottom right, I see your name, okay, and I recognize Benjamin's picture there. So I believe he has already been knocked out of the tournament. But we can see in the screen number of grandmasters that participated. Christopher Yu is one of them as well, but has also been eliminated already. So that goes to show being a grandmaster, it helps obviously in Anichess, but is not vital, is not crucial enough to win the competition. There's more needed, and that's why anyone can win in this tournament.
Actually, yes, there's no guarantee that if you're a title player or if you're playing this game for quite a while, that you can win or you have the upper hand against your opponent. Yeah, I agree because I've been playing chess for quite a while, and somehow I stopped. And then when I came back, the spells have been revamped, the spells have been patched, the game has been improved. So I tried playing against my brothers, my sister. Somehow they can defeat me now. That's
Oh,
because I haven't practiced. I was not aware of the recent changes, so I have to adjust one more time. But yeah, there's a lot of possibilities here in Anichess.
Oh, that's so exciting. But yeah, both players here have a lot of experience in chess, but sometimes when you have more experience in chess, it is so much harder to then switch to a different kind of chess game, such as Anichess. It is difficult to get used to all the new possibilities. Tactics are so different. We saw earlier how a knight can suddenly move like a queen, and you really have to keep these kind of ideas in mind depending on your opponent's spells. And here we see the start of our final game in a semifinal. And yeah, Night against Gray. Let's take a look at the spells. What do we see?
Yeah, for Najdorf, the remaining spells that he has are Parker Mech, Shot in the Dark, and Bishop 2.0. Actually, not bad. And for Gray, she has Slip, House Recruit, and Imposter. Again, these spells are really useful, and let's see how they can utilize this in their game right now.
See Karakan on the board, and yeah, I'm wondering which set of spells is more favorable here. I'm actually surprised that Nighter still has quite a good set of spells left after having played 2 games already. It feels like he really sacrificed in the first game. He went with the least favorable spells among all the spells, and now he's left with quite a lot of good ones because he can still transform a piece into a knight, so any pawn can turn into a knight, and he can turn a piece invisible for a move, which can be really tricky as we saw in the previous games.
Yeah, actually. But also, let's not forget that the combination of Slip and House Recruit is quite dangerous as well. If you put your pawn on the 6th rank and you manage to slip that pawn and promote it, well, you can secure yourself a queen or a piece. And also, Imposter. which means that you cannot leave your piece hanging. That's also dangerous. So not only that Najdorf has these Parker mech that can turn his pawns into knight or his other piece into knight, but also he has this bishop. So he must keep his bishops in order for him to keep this bishop skill useful. And also shot in the dark as well.
Absolutely. Najdorf is putting pressure early on in the center. So let's see how Gray will respond to this because, yeah, do you want to trade piece here? You kind of have to go by whether you want to trade pieces or not based on the opponent's spells or your own spells for that matter. Because yeah, if you want to go in an endgame here with the white pieces or with the black pieces, what is more favorable? And the players do not have that much time to decide all of this. They only have 5 minutes in the starting position and they get 2 seconds added to their clock after every single move. So it's not a lot of time to make all of these big decisions.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. That's why it's very crucial in the opening that you really commit on what position you want to have in the later game or in the later stage of the game. So right now we can see, I think Najdorf really wants to take control of the center, and yeah, because of that, he has more chances of developing his bishop. That c1 bishop can now be, moved from c1 to g5 and threat a bishop if later on Black decides to put his or put her knight on f6. That can happen, and bishop is really dangerous as well. So she moved with castling and securing the king, but yeah, as what I've said, bishop g5 is a really good move because of that bishop spell.
Oh, and this is really difficult to counter because now not only is the bishop spell a threat, bishop takes queen. If you try to defend this, let's say you put a piece on f6 or you use house recruit putting a pawn on f6, then neither will take that pawn on e7, exposing the queen once again. And this is why she goes for imposter spell, swapping the bishops. I think that was her best shot here, and I really like this move.
Actually, she could have done e7 to f6 by slip spell. She could have done that so that um, there's no moves like this. You can see that bishop takes to b7 will have a material advantage for white. But if she've done e7 to f6 slip move, that could be prevented.
Okay, she went for this instead and she lost the rook this way, but she has a more active position. But is she able to use this? That's the question. She still needs to develop her pieces. Her knights are a little bit stuck. And yeah, she will need to start using house recruit, I think, to improve her position.
Oh, by the way, if our viewers are asking why did Gray did not take the pawn on e7, it's because of the bishop move. If queen takes e7, then bishop from g5 to e7 will be executed by Najdorf. So that's the threat. So yeah, the best defense for that was e7 to f6 slip spell. But right now, here's the position which we cannot really see who's going to be the upper hand since most of them have these spells. But let's not forget that Najdorf has Parker mech, so basically he has like 2 additional knights if he put that in this board.
Yeah, knights can be super tricky. They're also very good defenders. So let's see when Najdorf will start using that spell. For now, his bishop is under attack, which seems to be trapped as well on b7. So it seems like Gray is regaining some material back. Let's see when she will start to use house recruit. Bishop a6, that's quite a surprising move, actually.
Yeah, actually. Well, this is this is the pressure that you're gonna get if you haven't played with other spells. I'm thinking and I'm starting to believe that probably all these spells are not being used by both players, but we can see how well neither plays. And right now, House Recruit has been used. Pawn to e4, forcing the knight to move from f3 to e1, and that adds up to the space for black. But still, white has a material advantage.
Yeah, but ironically, those two bishops stuck on a6 and b7, they don't seem to be doing much. And as long as the queen is on c7, the bishop on b7 needs to be protected. So this may be favorable for Gray here, as she's expanding on the queen side, on the king side, sorry, and she already dropped one of her pawns to e4. Let's see if she will start using House Recruit again. And there you go, pawn to d3. This is looking very dangerous for Knight Earth.
Yeah, actually, we can see how creative Gray is. So knight to b4, and looking at this battery of bishop from g5 to h6, really having that threat, and knight to c4, adding more pressure, attacking that pawn on b2, and yeah, takes, attacking the knight on b3, and adding some guards to that d3 pawn. Wow, bishop was used, giving up the knight
All
on
right,
b3.
so yeah, one of the bishops has disappeared from the board of white, so bishop is becoming lesser and lesser powerful. So this was a moment for Knight Earth to start using that spell before the bishop is captured off the board as well. So now the bishop has come back to life, and we see a nice cheeky threat there of bishop takes king. So the king had to move there.
Yeah, actually. And yeah, we can see that the knight move on d3 is maybe planning a knight on e5, prevented by knight d7. And yeah, both of them having less than 2 minutes on their time right now. And yeah, there's still Parker mech. A Parker mech has been used to replace the pawn on h2. And Gray has to be creative again in executing her attacks. So we can see that the pressure has been gone. We have two rooks for white, one rook for black, but yeah, we can really see that there's a material advantage for white.
Exactly, and it's another knight can appear on the board one more. If you look at the spells, you see that on Knight Earth's side, Parkour Mech is only one purple bar left, which means that it can be casted one more time. And Shot in the Dark, it can be casted 3 more times as long as the mana is enough and you have enough to spend, because the players have a maximum of 8 mana in total, and then that is our cap. And every single move, if they use a spell, they can regain mana by simply making a move. So that's how the spells, that's how the mechanics work when it comes to spells.
Yeah, exactly. And we can see that Gray haven't used the slip spell yet. Maybe she's not using this spell for some of her games from the past. But yeah, that's really adding to the pressure. That's why you have to study all these spells from now on. We can also see that Nidorp is probably saving the Shot in the Dark spell for later use, and he's reactivating his pieces in the middle, his queen, his rook, his bishop. Maybe the knight is not that strong, but it's defending the king right there. But we can see that both of them are really doing their best. A knight has been the Parker mech has been used for the pawn in c5 square, and yeah, there's a lot of material advantage for white.
And also look at the time. Gray down to 20 seconds. That is not a lot of time. And now that Knight Earth is the one putting pressure here, it looks like Knight Earth is going to take this game, because how can Gray possibly come back from this?
Oh, did you see that? Rook takes g7. And that really threatens.
That's really putting the nail in the coffin.
Oh! Knight to e6.
Ouch.
Is this the end? No, this is not the end yet.
No. Not yet,
Yeah,
but it should be
Gray's
over
still
soon.
Holding on. Yeah, it'll be over soon, but let's wait. She still have slip, she still have the imposter spell, But for a caliber of Nydorf, I think this is it. Let's just see how this game goes for the remaining moves, for the remaining time. Queen takes c6, rook takes b4, and I think the pressure is gone. And all these remaining pieces on the king side is sufficient for the defense.
Yeah. Black does not have many pieces left to attack with, and now there's also bishop takes f5 possible. Queen takes g6 because of bishop.
Bishop!
Wow,
Oh.
what a tactic! Amazing use
So
of
good.
bishop. Finally, we see that spell come in action, and with that, Najdorf has qualified for the final, and this match was something else. This match was insane. Najdorf coming back after losing in the first game. What a way to win this match and move on to the finals.
Yeah, we actually saw how Nightdorf used all these spells. They are really utilized in the game. For the first match, we can see that probably he used the least spells he have used for his history of playing Anichess. And the next succeeding games, I think he really knows how he used that one, because we can see he takes g6 because he has the bishop for bishop. Damn, very phenomenal.
Amazing. Amazingly done by Najdorf. Gray also put such a great fight. She was doing so well winning that first game so convincingly, but Najdorf was too strong in the final two games. And now we will see Gray again in the match for third place, where she'll be facing Kuro. So there's still a lot at stake for those two. Even though they are not winning the tournament anymore, they are still fighting for third place, because fourth place wins $400, whereas third place wins $1,000. So there's still a lot at
Wow.
stake for that match. But the grand final will be between Portgas and Najdorf, who will be fighting for first and second place.
Yeah, but for the meantime, maybe let's have a quick break because that was a great match. And yeah, let's see you again, guys. Just take a cup of coffee, just like what I'm doing right now, and see you later.
See you soon!
step beyond tradition. With a drop of magic. Clash in epic battles where magic reshapes strategy. Unleash spells to transform the game. Attack! Defend! Trick! Master them all. Ready to duel in the realm of magic?
Season Cup with Anichess. I'm here joined by John, and we have a new guest over here. Welcome, Chef, to the show. Would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Hey, Anna. Hi, John. This is Chef speaking. Hi. I actually just hopped off a call with Magnus. Just catching up with him over the game. So he is actually super excited about the tournament, about the game in general. He thinks this could be the next big thing. But yeah, this
that's
is Chef,
super exciting to hear.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm kind of the core contributor to the game, from the initial idea to kind of the project management and design, and yeah, super honored to be on the stage with John and with Anna. You guys have been doing a great job tonight.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. It's great to have you here, Chef. Great to have you join us
Let's
over
go.
here as we're heading to the finals now. We just completed the semi-finals when we have two finals. We'll first start with the third place match between Kuro and Gray. They'll be fighting for third place as they will be playing a best of three again. But this time, they're facing each other. And whoever loses this game will be finishing on fourth place. And then after this match, we will be going to the grand final between Portgas and Nido, which will be a best of 5. So there we will have many more games. But first, this one of the finals, which will decide third place. How do you feel about the game so far, Chef? Have you been able to follow along so far?
I think the first one ended in 2-0, right? And the second as well, right? Is there any... Yeah, I think both matches are super exciting. I remember there are matches that scramble till, I think, a few seconds on the clock. But that's the magic of Anichess, right? You know, anything can happen.
Exactly, as the name suggests, Anichess, anything can happen. I love that. And now in the match between Kuro and Gray, who do you think is the favorite in this one? Who do you think will finish third place?
Oh, I'm kind of a big fan myself to Gray because I know she is she's actually teaching like chess in Philippines. I think she actually has like Malaysian student, but yeah, she went all the way from 64 all the way here as the last female standing. So yeah, I'm always rooting for the ladies.
Absolutely. I was so
I'm with
excited
you.
to hear
I'm with
that
you.
she also made it this far in the tournament on the very last day. She got so close to advancing to the finals too, as she won the first game against Nidorf, but then she lost the next two. So she was this close to advance to the finals, but now she is fighting for third place. So it was super exciting to see that she did manage to take a win off of Nidorf, the Grandmaster.
Ooh, she actually did win the first one.
Yeah, that was a
Wow.
crazy game. She played amazing, so she definitely deserves to be here. And yeah, we're looking forward to her match now against Kuro, which is going to start now any moment. We will be playing a time control 5+2 again, so 5 minutes for each player with 2 seconds extra time after every single move. And that's not a lot of time, especially with the spells around. You have to make your decisions quickly. If you're down to 10 seconds, I know from my experience that I do not have any time to think of using any spell. So I'd like to use my spells either early on, or I just need to make my moves super quickly and treat this time control as bullet. I need to play as fast as possible and try to survive for as long as I can.
Yeah, actually.
Okay, let's see. We're waiting for the game to start. I'm super excited to see who is going to win this match. We saw different types of strategy so far. We saw that in the first match, the players were using the same meta spells at the start in the first game, but in the second match, both players were switching up quite a bit here and there. So I'm curious to see if the players adapt to each other, how well they know each other, if they're preparing against each other, or if they just go by what feels right, what they're used to, and what has been working out for them personally. So yeah, what do you think, John? Who is the favorite in Kuro against Gray?
The way I saw their games, as we commentate on it, I have to I have to be with Chev. Let's go with the ladies, not because they're ladies, but because the way they play. The way they play. Yeah, we've seen that, right?
Yep.
Gray defeated Nidorf. I couldn't defeat Nidorf. Look at that position.
Yep.
Here. Oh, by the way, the game is
Ooh.
ongoing. We have Kuro against Gray. Let's have a quick check on the spells. So Kuro used Parker Mech, House Recruit, Queen Time, the meta spells, while Gray used Tactical Necessity, Shot in the Dark, and Bismuth 2.0, and they're in the middle of the game.
What happened to the board? It got completely wiped. It's like black started with pieces or something. Like I'm missing quite a few pieces here, while the pawns have barely moved. That's
Maybe we
really
traveled
impressive.
forward in time. And we can't see any queens for white. For Kuro, he doesn't have any queen. I don't know for some reason, but he still has this queen time spell. Maybe there was like a combination. So yep. So far in the spells, nothing was used, or maybe there is. Tactical necessity. I think tactical necessity was used, and some Bishop.
Right. Right, yeah. Yeah, interesting. So I really like Black's position. Black has control over the light squares, and that's very unpleasant for White. But for now, White is still holding on, although now I'm sensing some queen takes h2. I do have to double check the spells because you cannot just move your queen that easily
Yeah, you
with the
cannot.
spells around.
You really can't.
Yeah.
You really
Yeah, with
can't
queen
because
time,
Kuro has the queen
you
time.
can't move that queen. Yeah,
that's
that
the beauty
spell
of
really
Anichess.
has thrown me off many times. Yes.
Build your ranks. Build the
Yes, and
ranks.
we can see that House Recruit has been used. Still, if you are in material advantage,
Advance into the
you
fray.
still cannot tell that you can win because of these spells. So Gray has to be very careful here in this position, even though she has the queen. But this does not guarantee that she is winning.
Bound over bounds, where freedom resides.
Ooh, Bishop has been played.
Yeah,
Bishop to g4,
Yes,
back
the same.
to back to controlling the
What a
light
nice
squares.
save.
Yeah,
This is
and
actually useful
Kuro
to
only
save
has
that
one.
bishop.
Kuro's only one house recruit left, so only one more pawn can be placed on the board. Wait, queen takes h2. Oh, now it's possible because queen time is not possible right now. Kuro only has 2 mana now, so he cannot afford to do this.
Yeah, but that actually eliminated the other piece. So that leaves one queen against 2 rooks and 1 bishop and 1 knight. Oh,
This game is crazy. All the pieces are just disappearing as we're talking about the position. Black is only left with a
Exactly.
queen. That's crazy.
yeah, and right now, in terms of material advantage, I think I'm with Kuro in this position. But still, there's a lot of things that can happen since there are spells rather. Oh, that
Ooh.
hardcore mech on the F5.
Oh,
It was
and that
disaster
was
and
Ooh.
Kuro
resigned
won that
already.
match. Yeah, can't do
Wow.
anything about it.
We really
So you
saw
know
a
what?
difference there between the spells.
I actually spoken to Gray before, and I think it's her strategy to always lose the first game. So
Oh,
Ah.
yeah. Because best of three, you can always come back, right? So I'm still
yeah.
rooting for Gray.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Oh no, we have biased commentary here. I feel bad for Corona.
It's okay.
But
There's
yeah,
always a
it makes a
comeback.
lot of sense. Yes, it makes a lot of sense to start off with a loss. I mean, we saw Nidorf also coming back from a starting a loss at the start, but yeah, we saw a clear difference there in the spells. It was really difficult to continue with the spells that Gray had, as her opponent was getting more and more pieces on the board, and then the final shot with that knight replacing the pawn on f5, that was the killer that led to the
Yeah.
resignation. So that's why it's so important to have these opportunities to get more pieces into the game somehow.
But we also have to keep in mind that there are only 6 remaining spells to be used. So Kuro has used the meta spells, the Parker Mech, House Recruit, and Queen Time. However, for Gray, she can actually use that spell on the next succeeding match. I think since Chev has told us that that's the strategy that Gray has in this tournament, so probably we can see her come back here in the next succeeding rounds. But who knows? This is Anichess. Anything can happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. So let's see what happens in the next game, as the players indeed have to choose three new spells, new compared to the ones they have just chosen in the first game. And yeah, as you said, now that the Kura has already used the meta picks, meta choices for the spells, there's not much good left to challenge Gray. So let's see what the players decide to do.
Yeah, maybe we can now watch from the very beginning, because what we've seen was like a pretty messy board right there, and we've seen lots of pieces have been removed from the board already. So maybe we can start from the beginning. And here we go. Gray against Kuro. Gray having a slip spell, Parker Mech, and House Recruit. For Kuro, he has Tactical Necessity, Shot in the Dark, and Bishop 2.0. Wow.
All right. So Black is already threatening bishop takes rook on h1, so f3 is played to prevent that. That's a nice little center that White has built here, but I'm curious if it's a strength or if it can become really weak as the game advances, because with the spells, you never know. You never know what might happen, and you have to be so careful with your piece development here.
I agree. And we also have to remember that in the previous round, Gray against Nidorf, she didn't use the slip spell, but right now we'll see if how she will be able to use this spell. And right now she just used it from d4 to e5, and maybe she has like a different playstyle right here. You can see the knight moves to h7 and not so active, but here Gray has a chance to control the center, and maybe later on put that knight via Parker Mech on some of these pawns.
Right, suddenly the position went from okay to great for Gray with that one spell move from the pawn, moving it to d4 to e5. And look at that knight on c4, heading to d6, And as you mentioned, maybe that pawn on e5 will turn into a knight now, as that would make a lot of sense to get another piece into the game. And yeah, let's see what she decides to do here. But Kuro with Bishop 2.0, that spell can be useful, but in this position, I'm not sure how he'll be able to use that, as Gray is controlling the position quite well, dominating those bishops of black.
Yeah, I think there's like a threat as well with house recruit on d6, because most of the time this is what I do from my previous matches. I tend to do that. Like, I want to add pressure, add pressure to the opponent. So for this, we see Kuro defended it by putting his pawn on f6, try to eliminate that pawn, and just what I've said, putting the pawn on d6 through house recruit or with that slip spell, and then later on replacing it with a knight, if that can cause. Oh, we were just
There you
talking about it,
go.
and
Ooh.
all right. Look at that. And tactical necessity was used. That's a clever use of it, because yeah, to eliminate the pressure, you just have to make a little sacrifice.
Yeah, but Gray still has three slips left, so she can still make another one of those positions happen. As she's now ahead in material, she's up a rook, and given her spells, she can be ahead more material, as she can add knights to the board, she can add pawns to the board, she can transform her pawns into knights. So yeah, her position is looking great here. Her spells are much better. So I think this game is looking very good for Gray.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you in this. And the way I see it, she's trying to save house recruit for later use, but she has like 8 mana, so somehow she can actually combo this spell, house recruit on d6, and then later on um, transform it to a knight through Parker Mech, or maybe use her slip spell, because again we've seen her in the last round that she hasn't used that spell. So right now she used it, and that stole a lot of mana from the opponent. And right now, black is trying to be active by putting the knight on e5. Still, we can't really see the threat of bishops through this bishop spell. And yep, eliminating all the active pieces with that house recruit on d4.
And that is why House Recruit is such a strong spell. Not only can you attack the opponent's pieces with those pawns, you can also use it as a defensive resource. And now with Shot in the Dark, Kuro is moving that knight to a square, and it turns out the knight went to g4 unexpectedly. I expected it to go to d3.
Actually, it was a clever move, because if, for example, that shot in the dark was used to move that knight to e5 to f3, and for example, you used castling as your move, then the knight on f3 can capture your king on g1. But a clever move with the king f1 to prevent all of that. Look at that!
Wow,
House
there's so many
recruits.
things you have to keep in mind. Nice!
Yes.
Pawn on a6.
Yeah, that pawn on a6
Great.
can be very dangerous, because there's a combination of slip. So if, let's say for example, in the future moves, the black doesn't seem to care about that pawn, then yeah, a slip can actually promote that pawn from a7 to b8. Yeah, that can happen in the future.
Yeah, now black is in a very passive position, with much less pieces. It feels like black doesn't have many pieces left, but they're just all just very passively placed. And with that pawn a6, it's not helping black situation either. So as long as gray stays ahead on the clock and does not get low on time, she should be really, it should be really looking good for her here.
Indeed. For this, I agree with you, because as you can see, the bishop on f8 is not so active. So it's like he has a useless bishop if that bishop on f8 will not be active. But we also have to understand that there's a shot in the dark spell, and there's a pressure from white. So yeah, anything can really happen here. A shot in the dark can be used to capture like a major piece for white, but also it can be used to trick the white's king because yeah, there's still knights here in the board.
Yeah. Knight on f7, that's not a square where the knight wants to be, but black does not have much choice. And now the king is getting exposed of black. A lot of weaknesses in black's position. It's not looking good for Kuro here.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a threat on e6 if Gray wants to put pressure. She can do the house record on that square, and later on, yeah, replace it with a knight since that will add more pressure to the king since it's in the center. But she decides to go with knight to e3, maybe going to f5 and yeah, putting more pressure to the remaining pawns on d6 and g7 and attacking the bishop on e7. So it'll be not so useful. Knight to f5 and knight e2 to d4. That's a great combination. Preparation as well. Bishop to c5 because it's not so active. So Kuru decides to why not make it active. So yeah,
Yeah,
castling.
that bishop. Yeah, the bishop really looked like a pawn on e7. It had no purpose at all. But by using the spell bishop, the bishop is back to life and is in a much more
Mm-mm.
active position. Also looking at the pawn on a7, which can be quite useful, as black is now attacking with h3.
Yes, this h3 pawn is quite tricky because somehow it really adds pressure and adds opportunity for the shot in the dark threats later on. So if white makes a mistake of putting his king in one of these diagonals, then a bishop can slay the king.
Now the knight on e3 is under attack, but this bishop h7 move is in the air for white. For now, the knight on g5 is covering that square, but I see some tactical ideas here for white. Perhaps controlling the h file, putting a queen there, would be beneficial to really try to capture that king on g8.
Yeah, actually. And let's not forget that there's still House Recruit, there's still Parker Mech, but
Clever
Gray
diversion.
is having
Slip
like
of
less than 1 minute
information.
on her time. So she really has to be very careful in this position. And if black takes that queen, then oh, I don't know if she sees that. Oh, I don't know why she didn't do that. She could have done that knight to e7. But there's a tactical necessity, so that can be taken by a bishop.
Right.
So yeah, anything can really happen
Ooh.
here. Anything can really
Yeah,
happen
you
here.
really have to keep your opponent's spells in mind, but that slip move was incredible. What a way to promote the
Yeah.
pawn. I mean, we know that in normal chess, you can only capture diagonally. That's the only way a pawn can move diagonally. But
Yeah.
in Anichess, you can use the spell slip, and the pawn moves diagonally even towards the last rank. So that way, white is now ahead a full queen with little chances for black to come back. And the only thing that Kuro has going for himself here is the time management. Kuro's ahead on the clock, so perhaps there are some flagging opportunities, but with the attack that we see here from Gray, I think she has this game in the back.
Yeah, and there are threats of shot in the dark as well, but not that, it's not that dangerous because of the position of this knight on g5. The king is somehow very safe on g2 because of the queen and the rook there. The bishop is very active on c2, and there is still one slip, one Parker Mech, and one house recruit. And as for the time control, both of them having less than 50 seconds, but
Kill the light.
it's fair. They both have 44 seconds left, and the shot in the dark was used, but not so dangerous. It was just put in the rook a7, maybe preventing some knight e7 or queen e7 pawn move. Okay, there's an exchange,
And
some
this is over.
exchanges. Yeah,
Black has no more attacks left, cannot get more pieces on the board. This is all that Black has. And with the queen, now queen takes c4 is possible. Black is running out of material even.
Yeah, and Bishop is not that dangerous here right now. Maybe if you just put the queen on e7, it can happen.
Oh,
So don't
play
put
queen
that.
e7.
That can
That
turn.
changes the game completely.
Yeah, but I think she's still winning because she has Parker Mech and a house recruit. So
Right.
yeah, maybe we can conclude that this is for Gray.
New pawn is
Look
crowned.
at that. Making
Preparing
sure
queen
that
b7.
this is a mate. And Black resigns. Gray
And
won the
that means
match.
it's 1-1. And we're going to a tiebreak in this match as well, which made sense given Gray's sacrifice in the first game, sacrificing the spells choice. So she chose 3 spells that are not as favorable. And now she will, I believe she still has access to queen time. So that can be very vital in the last game.
Yeah, actually, I don't know what happened with the remaining spells, but maybe, this is what Chev was talking about. This is all about strategy. You see, she used the spells that she didn't want in the first round or the first match because she's really trying to put this strategy in the match that, oh, I'll be losing this first round because I want to win the next succeeding rounds. Maybe that really adds up. And Chev, again, I'm with you, bro.
Yeah, bro. I told you. It's her strategy.
Yeah, it's
We
effective
have
so far.
a Gray fan over here.
Yeah, we are.
Amazing. Yeah, absolutely amazing. And the chat is wondering, you can't carry spells in the next game. What is special about this tournament is that you cannot carry spells in the next game because otherwise everyone will be using the same spells over and over again and recycle, repeat. But here the players are forced to really think about their decisions because if they spend all the opportunities in the first game, all the good spells are used in the first game, then in the final 2 games potentially you'll be left with less ideal spells, and that can really ruin things. So it is important to find a balance and to have good spells kind of at every single game. So that's why it's a really nice way to balance the games and to see it may come down to the final game as we see in this match as well. So I really like this twist that the players cannot choose the 3 same spells again and have to resort to other spells instead. And that way we'll also see different positions arise, different kind of strategies will be played. And I really like the diversity here that we have seen in the games today.
Awesome. And for the next match, there are like 3 spells remaining. But before we go and proceed with that match, maybe we can have a quick break.
Let's do it. Welcome back,
And we're
everyone,
back.
to the. Welcome back. We're back with the Chess.com pre-season cup with Anichess, and we're now back with the final game of this
go!
final match for the third place.
Yeah.
This game will decide who finishes third place. I'm super excited.
Gray!
It's we have our Gray resident fan here.
I'm with you, man. Let's go, Gray!
I also want Gray to win, but I feel really bad for Kuro, so I have to side with Kuro just because I feel bad.
Yeah.
Let's take a look
Anyway,
at
maybe
what's happening in this game.
the remaining spells. For Kuro, he used Slip, Pengu Dive, Imposter, because that's the remaining spell in his arsenal, while Gray used Pengu Dive, Imposter, and Queen Time. So the only thing that changed was Slip and Queen Time. And yeah, we can see that they are very aggressive here in the opening moves. And what are we seeing right now? Maybe this can still be saved.
Yeah, the thing is, Pengu Dive, you cannot use that to capture a piece. Otherwise, you could have moved the knight from f3 to g4. But yeah, that doesn't quite work with Pengu Dive. The piece can only go to an empty square. So already a tough spot for Kuro. That knight is going to be captured. And also, now that Gray has Queen Time, it's very, very strong spell.
And that will be a material advantage if White cannot do anything to save that knight. And he decides with that slip move from h4 to g5, maybe capturing that pawn on h6 and maybe slight chance of playing it with g-pawn. But remember, there's no bishop. There's no bishop that can really threaten that rook on h8. But yeah, a knight is a knight. So if I will be moving this for Gray, I'll be taking that knight.
Yeah, and what is interesting is that both players have the imposter spell. So when one player uses the imposter spell, as we see now, the other player can use the same imposter spell and simply switch the pieces back.
Yeah,
So
actually.
I wonder if Kuro will actually make that happen, or if Kuro decides to do something else.
That happens a lot of time. Well, it happened in most matches just to save the piece, especially if that is really threatening. But look at that! Did you see that?
Wow!
What a great imposter response from White.
Wow. Interesting. Now the rook on a1 is trapped.
Yeah, what he can do is
I guess he can
really
take the
capture
pawn
on
a2, but yeah, the rook is still surviving.
Yeah, but that didn't save the knight on f3, so black is up with a knight, and he just have to be very careful to secure the material advantage and later on convert it into a win. But let's not forget again that there's this slip spell that can be quite dangerous if these pawns can reach 6th rank. So he has to be very careful.
Slippery.
Yeah.
Yeah, this game's already such a mess. It's the game just started, it's already a mess on the board. And those spells are really changing the game. With the imposter spell, you cannot swap kings or pawns. So you can only swap the other pieces, the knights, the bishops, the rooks, queens, but not the pawns and the kings. That is important to keep in mind.
Yeah. And right now, as you can see, there's queen time for Gray. So later on, she can actually use this if somehow she can remove all these pawn threats on the 5th rank. I cannot really say that's a lot of threat, but it has a potential to be a threat since there's a slip spell. So this is quite dangerous if she will not really take care of this. But with that queen move on h5, I'm guessing that Kuro is really trying to fight back because again he's down with a knight, and yep, this material disadvantage needs to be compensated with this attack, with this potential attack from what he's doing right now.
Right, and it's hard to see how Grey can really develop her pieces here because almost all her pieces are still stuck on the 8th rank, and White is the one attacking here. And look at that, Queen takes
Oh,
G6, but now Queen
oh,
time,
Grace.
and she does it.
yeah. That's what I'm telling you. That what was I am telling you? She will really, she will really find the opportunity to use that queen time, and she does that very efficiently. Look at that. So this knight is defending the rook on
Great.
h8. Oh no, the knight on b1 is also hanging. Use the imposter skill, bro. Ah, I think this is it.
Yeah, this is rough.
There's a lot of material advantage. There's a lot of material advantage, and time will not really help because both of them has more than 2 minutes in the clock.
And this is why having queen time is so important. It looked like White was crushing there. It was an amazing attack, but then all of a sudden, queen time ruined everything. And now it's Black who's completely winning.
Yeah, actually, although there's this slip spell which can convert that h6 pawn later on into a queen if Gray will not really, you know, take care of that potential threat. But there's a lot of pieces in the board for Black to take care of these potential threats. So yeah, I'm guessing if Gray can manage to defend this, it's going to be GG.
I believe so too. Now, White is trying his best, pushing the pawns forward, trying to make a miracle happen, but given the time situation as well, Grace seems to be doing just fine, and she just needs to play it safe. Make sure she doesn't blunder anything too drastically. But this is looking really good for her once again.
Yes, and she also has to keep in mind that she has less than 2 minutes. That's 1 minute and 30 seconds right now. And maybe she can just simplify everything in this position. Let's not overcomplicate it. All right, she moved her bishop using a pengu dive from e6 to c7 to guard that knight on b8 because it's hanging and she can't really use her queen. And there's this threat of slipping it to g8. So yeah,
Yep.
it was quickly defended with that king f7.
And now bishop c4 comes to mind, giving a check. Who knows what may happen there?
Yeah, but thankfully there's no bishop. So a d5
Yeah.
can be a great defense for that. Yeah, bishop c4, d5. Yeah, I think that will quickly repel that bishop threat. However, again, the slip spell. This is really somehow dangerous. If again the pawns will reach 6th rank, but let's watch how Gray will defend her position in this chess position right now.
E6 check. And after
Probably.
that, Black will
Or-
be forced to play king g7.
Yeah, actually. And after g7, yeah, maybe f5 or bishop d6, guarding that pawn, so that he has a chance to put that rook on g1 and then slip promote that h7 to g8. Probably something like that.
Bishop d3 now.
he's doing it.
Okay, suddenly White is creating threats here.
Yeah. So the threat is rook g1 check, so that he can promote that h7 pawn. I'm thinking bishop a3 check. Maybe that's
Ooh, I like that
possible
move.
because yeah. And this is actually, preventing that g8 promotion later on. But that penguin dive is getting
Ooh.
tricky.
Perfect.
But there's a lot of peace here in the board right now, and more of these black pieces can now be activated because of that bishop a3 move.
Okay, bishop takes the pawn off the board. But what is the plan of black? Because it's time to give a check on g1. There you go.
Used as a cover, maybe bishop g to 5.
Yeah, bishop g5. I like that. Oh, bishop g6.
Wow. Utilizing every spell she has. And somehow maybe eliminating that light bishop. Oh, did you see that too?
Ooh.
She has that one.
Wow.
But she
At least the pawn is off the board, but ooh,
Ooh.
this check is
Oh.
dangerous.
Yeah, it is.
No.
She's forced to do that. What is happening right
It's
now?
taking so much material.
Yeah,
Gray is very low.
this changed the course of this game. What happened?
This is such a mess now.
She needs to be very careful in this. She needs to gain some time and at the same time convert this slight material advantage because there's 2 rooks in the board against a queen. Although she has like 1 pawn up, but this is getting very difficult for her. Unlike a while ago.
She still has some chances here, but it's not looking great with the amount of pieces that white has. The king is retreating out of white, but black is ready to attack that king. And with the time situation, they're playing on seconds. Kuro on 5 now.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a
do you think
massive
that-
time
Oh.
scramble.
Oh no.
Had to look out for rook g check there.
Yeah, and now the rooks are connected. This is getting dangerous. Oh!
No.
No, oh no. Less than 10 seconds.
Oh,
Will
this
she
is
take that?
madness. Draws
Will it
are
be a
not
draw?
allowed.
No, maybe she doesn't want to draw.
A diagonal
She
dash,
wants... Oh!
Ooh.
quick as
Oh.
a flash.
Okay,
What a great use of slip. Taking that
but
pawn.
that costs time.
Yeah. So it's 8 seconds against 4 seconds. Taking the pawn. Oh, there's a pass pawn right here. Let's see how this pawn will be promoted. Checks on the 8th
Ooh.
rank. Lots of checks.
That pawn on d3 cannot move forward, but it's looking dangerous.
Oh no. This is really getting
1
tense.
second. 0 second.
Oh, timeout!
And she
Timeout!
flagged. Oh
Gray!
my goodness, what a game!
Gray! Oh no, Gray! Oh no, Gray! Gray, what happened, Gray? We lost Gray.
Oh, Gray.
Oh no.
She already took it down. Damn.
Damn.
How did
did
he
Now
come
Kuro
back
so
won that.
well.
from there?
What a great
Kuro
comeback.
survived that like crazy. The threats he was posing there, we thought it was game over, but Kuro made it so interesting and still fought back like that. That was incredible. That was amazing display of skills there.
Yeah, actually. Imagine if that's a regular chess thing and you have that a lot of advantage and still lost. I think I don't know how to feel. But yeah, let's talk about the brackets right now. Because Kuro won that match. So yeah, Kuro will be the 3rd placer and later on we'll be watching Portgas against Najdorf.
Ooh.
Yeah, so congrats to Kuro for finishing 3rd place. Amazing performance, and he will be going home with $1,000. So that is a big prize. So that one game was a very expensive one. But now we're heading to the finals. The very grand final between Portgas and Najdorf. Who is going to become the winner of the preseason cup? I'm very excited to see this match. Both players have shown great skills, and now they're facing each other after having run through the bracket and defeated so many players along the way.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And at the same time, I'm excited how will they be utilizing all the spells, given that again, yeah, there's a lot of pressure. And as we talk about this, as we are about to proceed with the finals, maybe we can have like a quick break. What do you think?
Sounds great. Let's go to a short break. After break, we will be back with the grand final between Portgas and Nidor. So stick around, don't go anywhere. We'll be back with you soon.
Step beyond tradition. With a drop of magic. Clash in epic battles where magic reshapes strategy. Unleash spells to transform the game. Attack! Defend! Trick! Master them all! Ready to duel in the realm of magic?
Hello everyone and welcome back to the chess.com preseason cup with Anichess, and we're now we've come to the grand final. This is a match that we have been waiting for all this time after so many matches that have been played in this tournament over the course of at least 2 weeks. Now we're here for the grand final between Najdorf and Portgas. Both players have shown tremendous skills, and I'm super excited to see, will we have Najdorf from Netherlands, Grandmaster, win this tournament, or Portgas, who is from the Philippines, but has shown amazing skills in Anichess.
Yeah, maybe we can ask
I'm
Chev
so excited.
about his bias. About his bias here.
Ooh.
My bias is always the underdog. So
Underdog.
I guess
So you'll be with
Naidorf
Porcus.
is GM, right? And Portas is
Yes.
I think around 1900. Yeah, it's always rooting for underdogs in this game, bro. Because in any chess, anything can happen.
You're right.
Exactly.
Because it's not just your ordinary chess. It's Anichess.
Is any chess.
You're right about that, brother.
This match is going to last all 5, so we'll have more games than in the other matches. First to win 3 games wins the match. So let's see how the players will do in this one. But I'm looking forward to this match. Both players have played so well. We saw them win in amazing fashion earlier today, and now they're facing each other. I'm curious to see if they already prepared for their games. Do they prepare against the opponent, or do they really prepare for themselves and see which strategy works best? Because I've seen Portgas use the strongest spells, or like the most commonly used spells, in the first game already. So I'm curious to see if he will do that again against Naidorf, or if he's going to change it up now, his match against Naidorf. So I'm looking forward to this match. The match is about to start, and actually, it's already on the screen. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, let's discuss first the spells. So Naidorf used Shot in the Dark, Bishop, and Pengu Dive, while Portgas used his meta, Polymer House Recruit, and Queen Time. Yes, controlling the center, and Portgas decides to fetch his bishop on queen side with that a6 move.
Wow, Naidorf going again for this this strange setup at the start. He doesn't quite take control of the center, at least perhaps with this set of spells, as Portgas starts off with the meta, the 3 strongest or most commonly used spells in the first game already.
It is. Maybe he's trying to get the upper hand at first so that he'll have more confidence in the next succeeding match. And later on, since it's a best of 5, so definitely maybe he can reuse this on the 4th or 5th match. But right now, we can see Naidorf used Shot in the Dark, Bishop, and Pengu Dive. Not so much of the most used spells here in Anichess. But again, let's not forget that Naidorf is a master. So yeah, he can really utilize all these spells if he wants to. So right now there's an exchange here. Okay. Change tradings over there. Knight takes to e4, queen takes to e4. What can you say about this position right now, Anna? There's queen time that's been used. What the?
Wow. I was so surprised to see all these trades happen. I thought you want to keep the bishops on the board because you have bishop. That spell's important. Well, if you have bishops, you need to keep the bishops alive. But this trade was with the reasoning that queen time will be used. Oh, actually, Naidorf has bishop, so it is not black with bishop. It's white. So yeah, it's a really interesting series of events there, and Naidorf already down a queen.
Yeah, but let's not forget that Naidorf has Shot in the Dark spell, so he just used it, and maybe the obvious move was knight d6, but he moved it to d2 to capture that rook on e4. So somehow he tricked Portgas, but I think that would be the safest move, because what if the knight really goes to d6, then you lost your king through kingslip.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
yeah, that's really tricky.
Really clever by Naidorf. Yeah, I call it a win.
Yeah, actually, here in the board, we still have Parker Mech and House Recruit for Portgas, and he just have to convert this huge material advantage so that he can secure his win. However, again, neither is a master. He still has Penguin Dive, Bishop, and yeah, one Bishop on the board, and a shot in the dark spell. So if these spells can be used against Portgas, then somehow he can turn the tables. But seeing Portgas as an experienced player, maybe he can really convert this huge material advantage into win.
It looks like Ninov is trying to trade pieces here, and as more and more pieces are traded, ooh, shot in the dark
Look
has
at
been used.
that.
Where did it go?
Where did the rook go? If you put your queen.
Oh!
Oh
What are the chances?
no! Oh, I told you.
What?
I told you neither is a master. He tricked
How is that
Portgas.
possible?
He predicted that the queen will move on e2. Oh no. Why did
Suddenly the tide has changed?
Ooh.
Yeah, quickly changed. And the thing is, this is the meta spells that he used, and yeah, he will not be using this for the next 2 rounds. So somehow, this is really unfortunate for Portgas and fortunate for Nidorf.
Yeah, the lesser pieces are on the board, the harder it is for Portgas to actually make progress in this game, especially without the queen. But even with the queen, it was getting quite difficult because I feel like the spells that a Night Earth has are really beneficial for an endgame situation. Especially Shot in the Dark, you have no idea where the piece is going.
Yeah, even with this house recruit and partner mech, with this material advantage from the white's pieces, I don't think it will be easy. And looking at the bishop, how active that is placed on d6, the two rooks are getting connected, controlling the 7th rank, and later on probably simplifying everything by changing or trading the rooks. Oh no, this is going to be a win for white.
I think so too, despite the fact that Black still has 2 more parkour match spells. It's hard to see how you can actually utilize that for now. White is getting really active. That pawn on d7 is hanging. Soon, White will infiltrate in the position. But first, there's one knight on the board. Knight on f6. That is something that White has to deal with first.
Yeah, and I think as a master, he can just really easily utilize this one and convert this advantage into a win. So somehow, probably Portgas is trying to make a distraction through this knight, but we cannot really prevent the inevitable here. So yeah, neither really has to be careful, just to be careful, and somehow later he can really convert this into a win.
Yeah, only one more spell left for Portgas. House Recruit. There will be 2 more pawns possible to place on the board, but looking at the board, I am failing to see how to use this other than as a defensive resource, because attacking gets really difficult when there's only a few pieces left on the board.
Yeah, truth, and that sacrifice leads for the connection of these 2 rooks on the 7th rank. So it's 2 knights and 1 rook against 2 rooks. But how will Portgas defend this? Because it's these 2 rooks is actually threatening that g7 pawn, and yeah, probably maybe there's a pengu dive that's gonna happen. Oh,
Oh.
Rook
Pengu
h8,
dive.
Pengu dive?
Oh,
Oh,
it did it!
wow!
It did it!
What?
And that's checkmate in chess, but in Anichess, it's
What?
not over yet, but Black cannot defend this.
Yeah,
And
I
resignation
don't
is on the
know.
board.
And that's 1 win
Oh.
for Nidorf.
Wow,
Damn.
what a win
Sick.
that was. That sacrifice was incredible at the end. putting the rooks on the 7th rank, we know in chess that's very important, but in Anichess it's even stronger, especially with the Pengu dive that allows this rook to suddenly move to the 8th rank. In normal chess, that is much harder to do.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen in normal chess, but since this is Anichess, anything can happen.
It's amazing what a game that was. That was going back and forth like crazy, but that one trick in the middle of the game where Najdorf suddenly guessed where the queen would go off black, suddenly after that it was over. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think we can clip that one because you predicted where that queen will go. Oh, I predict your queen will go to e2, so I'll put my rook in e1. Then bang!
What are the
All of a
chances?
sudden,
It's crazy.
I am now in material advantage. That's crazy. Yeah.
We're looking at why the rook move? What is the purpose? Like the only chance you have is to move the rook and attack the queen directly. But what is a follow up? But this was the reason why. That was such a mind trick by Najdorf, and that is why he is not only good at chess but also good at Anichess.
Yeah, actually. So that gives Najdorf a 1 win for this round, and we still have 4 rounds, right?
Yeah, so Najdorf needs to win 2 more games. If he wins 2 more games, then he will be the winner of the whole tournament. But first, let's see if Portgas can come back from this, as this is a best of 5. First to 3 wins the match.
Yeah, and there's still 6 remaining spells. So again, that's unfortunate for Portgas. I know that the meta spells have been used already, but I also know that Portgas is also good in using the imposter spell. So maybe this is the round. This is the game where he will be using the imposter spell. So I'm excited. How will he coming back from this? So yep, I'm pretty excited for the next match.
Me too. Now that Portgas has spent the most commonly used spells, it's hard to see how he'll come back, but anything can still happen. We saw that Najdorf had some of the weaker spells selected, and he was still able to win this in a miraculous way. So that goes to show, even with the lesser good spells, anything can happen. As long as you know how to utilize those spells. That is what matters the most. Because if you don't use the spells at all, it's kind of a waste and it puts you in a disadvantage.
Exactly. So yeah, currently, these are the spells for the audience that we have right now. So we have Slip, Tactical Necessity, and Partner Mech. Maybe I can discuss for the meantime why Queen Time is my favorite. So before, yeah, you can capture a king, but for the recent patch, you can capture a queen and you cannot capture the king anymore. So there's still the beauty of this spell is that if you are, playing chess without a queen, you're good as it is good as a lost match. So you use this spell because it allows a knight, bishop, or rook to move like a queen once during your turn, and the piece can capture any piece again except king. And it costs you 7 mana. So you have to use this wisely because this is only capped at 1 cast. So if you use this to capture a queen, that's great. But if you capture like a major piece like rook or other piece, it's still good as long as it contributes to your win. All right, so maybe let's head on to the game 2. Yeah, shall we?
Yeah, the game should be starting now, and there we have it on the screen. Portgas with the white pieces now. Which spells did they choose? So Shot in the Dark,
Oh.
Bishop, and Imposter for Portgas.
Yes. And for Najdorf, we have Sleep, House Recruit, and Imposter. Here's the thing. Since Portgas is kind of an expert in using Imposter spell, I think Najdorf has been playing against him for quite a while, since most of the time in the ranked match, we are actually battling against each other, same names, or similar playstyle. So if somehow Portgas used this Imposter spell, it can easily be defended by reusing Imposter spell as well to just revert back what he did.
Right, and neither with the house recruit and slip, very powerful combination, as this is very the slip spell is used a lot for pawns to move diagonally, and house recruit adding more pawns to the game that can be really annoying for the opponent to deal with. So in this game, Portgas is not taking control of the center as much. He gave the control of the center away. So let's see if that will benefit him, because he does have the bishop spell. So he wants to activate the bishops. He could try bishop b5 already, but I'm sure that will be defended. But it's good to pose threats to the opponent here.
Yeah, actually, if you're using a bishop spell, you need to be like an open game. You need your bishops to be very active, and if you're playing against an opponent that has bishop, you really have to be careful of those bishops, because you never know. Somehow, you may not see that the mana has already been piled up. So like this one, an imposter spell has been used, so you have the choice to revert it back, and he did.
Okay, that was I guess it's trying to reduce some of the spells, some of the other spells as well, because now it will take a few more turns for Portgas to, let's say, use Bishop or Shot in the Dark, because his balance is now back to 1 mana. And he has to make more moves to get more mana as the game goes on.
Yes, and that's the beauty of the sleep spell, because if you use the sleep spell, you can actually steal 1 mana from your opponent. So if you want him to kind of be stunned with that mana, you just have to use the sleep spell, which is capped at to 5 cast. So right now, as you can see, Nidorf is doing a lot of pressure in the middle. So yeah, black is white is playing passively here, and bishop has been active here in d6. Although black doesn't have a bishop spell, we can still see the advantage in terms of the space. But damn, that bishop moved to g7. I don't know if he sees that, but yeah, that's a pawn up for white.
Yeah, I guess you have Rook g8 still counterattacking that bishop, and now the pawn on g2 is also hanging. So, yeah, it looks really nice to capture that pawn on g7, but white is lacking pieces to really follow up on that. And now it is black who's coming back. Oh, imposter
Oh, no.
again. And guess what? Portgas cannot use imposter again because he already used
Oh,
the
no.
spell.
Yeah, that's. Oh no. I have no words to describe this, but this is really.
I'm wondering,
kind
did
of unfortunate.
Nigel already calculate this? He allowed bishop takes g7 on purpose for this? I really wonder if this is like
I
a
guess so.
5-head move, or
I
if
guess
this
so.
happened by accident.
He's a master.
That's crazy.
He's a master.
Oh
And he knows
my, that would be
how players
incredible.
think. Yeah. So it's like not
I mean,
so.
we saw it
not
last
so,
game. He
you know,
predicted where the
dangerous.
queen went.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if he can predict where your queen will go, definitely he can also predict if you're gonna be using your spell, and that will cost your mana.
Wow.
So yep.
That is some next level Anichess play. That is incredible.
Yeah, and I don't think that there's like some spells here that can recover from this, since bishop is not going to be useful with that bishop on e2. A shot in the dark can also be used. I don't know if that knight on b1 can be active, or it can be activated later on. But yeah, I think the slip will control how the game works later on, because if you manage to put that on f3, guarding by some other pieces from knight c6 to e5, bishop c6, and then put the pawn on f3, that is going to be dangerous for white.
Yeah, white is in trouble here. That king on e1 feeling very unpleasant there. And on the next turn, neither can use house recruit. Another pawn can come in. I can see it go to f3. That bishop also looking very unhappy on e2.
Yeah, I don't know how White can recover from this. Although, yes, he's trying his best, but this is overwhelming. White is indeed in trouble. Look at that attacking the knight on f1. Ah, this is basic chess. Oh my.
We're back to chess now. He's up in rook, so he can just play normal chess now. And
Yeah.
also, yeah, Portgas is running out of the spell soon. As yeah, that slip spell can really ruin things for Portgas. The worst part is that Nidorf has not even used slip yet, so he can start spamming that soon and steal 1 mana every time as he goes. So that
Yeah,
can
I actually
ruin
agree.
things even more for Portgas.
And then there's House Recruit too. He can actually put a pawn on f3 so that there will be no more guards left, or just to add pressure for the f1 knight. Although he can actually capture that if he wants to, but if he wants to play with his opponent, yeah, he can just put that pawn on f3 and later on guard it with that pawn on d5, capturing the e4, and put a lot of pressure since in time control. Yeah, podcast has less than 2 minutes, so this is. Oh, I think that f3 is necessary right now. So
Oh, you
this
can play a
is
pawn
really
onto
getting
f3
out of
now,
control.
yeah.
Yeah, because the bishop doesn't have any space or square to go. So let's see what Najdorf will do in this position, since he's actually winning. Awesome,
Yeah, and if you
awesome.
put the pawn on f3, the bishop will have to move or gets captured, and then the knight on f1 also is vulnerable again. So, yeah, this is losing in so many different ways. But he goes for queen a7. I wonder why.
How I know, because there's an imposter spell. If he puts that pawn on f3, he'll do the imposter spell, swapping that queen to a8 to d3. The queen is under attack, and the king is under attack. What a great trick!
Wow.
But it didn't work against Najdorf because that's a master. That's a chess master. So for you to
He
trick him,
knows. He knows all your
ah,
plans.
you can't. Yeah, he knows where your queen will head to, so he knows what you're planning to as well. So he guards that knight in the f1 square with knight to d2. Oh, yeah, that f3 pawn is inevitable, I guess.
Yeah.
This,
At least the knight on d2 is defending the knight on f1 now, but white is hanging on a thread here. This is a really rough position for white.
yeah, I don't think I would love to play as white in this position, but what is okay? Bishop e6.
Bishop e5, I guess.
Big, yeah. Bishop e5 is the next move. Okay, maybe he's just pressuring his opponent.
Wait, the
He's
queen
just
is
really
trapped.
pressuring his opponent.
Oh, imposter
But,
has been
yeah,
used. Yeah, that was necessary. Otherwise, the queen.
yeah, it was a forced move, and well, that was a save. That was a good
Wait,
save, by the
slip?
way. But it
Oh, you cannot use
where?
it on an empty square, right? Can on an on a taken square. Sorry. I was so excited, but I confused it with queen time.
Yeah, don't worry. At first, I was that confused as well. But yeah, I think White is somehow recovering with this Queenside Castle. But again, let's not forget, Najdorf is a master. He knows what he's doing. And with this knight to d5, where's this queen going? He can take
I guess
the
queen takes
e4 pawn.
e4. Yeah, but now knight
Oh, but there's
c3 or
a
queen
c3.
c5. All the pieces are coming
Lots
in.
of threats. Yeah. And there's no imposter. There's no imposter spell anymore. He only has Bishop and Shot in the Dark. Shot in the Dark has been used, but there's 3 mana, so he
I
cannot
guess you have to move the
Bishop.
king just to be sure.
Yeah, but there's no Bishop yet if he wants to use that after that move.
Yeah.
Okay. C5 covering from the check. On exchange. This is
It
not
doesn't help because
going to.
black is
Yeah.
up so much material.
Yeah, this is simple chess, I guess. Simple chess. Still doesn't really help because there's two bishops. He has this bishop but doesn't have a bishop.
Humble ground. You
Look at that. There's this
Oh,
house
pawn on
recruit.
a3.
Yeah,
Wow.
that is going to be a threat, and that's going to be unstoppable because there's a bishop on g7 that looks up to the a1 to h8 diagonal.
GG.
GG's. So
And the
that's two
game is
zero.
resigned. Nidorf wins another game.
Yeah, 2-0 for Nydorf against Portgas.
Nidorf looking really good here. I mean, not only is he ahead in the match, I feel like on the board, he's also just dominating the match so far. It's incredible, and he just knows all of his opponent's plans. It's quite intimidating to even watch this. Imagine playing against Nidorf, and Portgas is really fighting hard and trying his best, but it's really difficult to take Nidorf down. And yeah, we'll have to see a huge comeback now from Portgas. Otherwise, it's match point, and with one more win, Nidorf will be crowned the winner.
Yeah, actually, we can really say that Nydorf is really excellent in prediction, right? He predicts where the queen goes. So he turned the tides. He turned the tables. So from a losing position, he managed to win that match. And then after that, he also predicted that Portgas will be using the Bishop 2.0, but he forgets that there's this imposter spell that's on the way. Yeah, he's a master of imposter spell. For me, he's a master of imposter spell because I used to play with Portgas. He used a lot of imposter spell, but this time he was predicted by Nydorf. And yeah, that's 2-0 against him.
Yeah, indeed. So, what a game that was once again. And now we're heading to the third game of this match. Very important one. But now that it's on match point, even more pressure on Portgas and even lesser spells available now because the players have already used 6 spells in the first 2 games. So now they don't have a choice in the spells anymore. They have the 3 spells that are remaining are going to be used now. So let's see. But I'm fearing for Portgas over here.
Yeah, actually, the remaining spells, I believe, is not going to favor Portgas. But since anything can happen in Anichess, so let's see how will this work out for the both of them. Although I believe this is going to be in favor for Nydorf, since I believe also that he mastered every spells right here. But yeah, I can't wait. Maybe let's proceed to the third match if that's possible, because I really can't wait how they will use the remaining 3 spells for this game.
Yeah, exactly. I believe we will see tactical necessity from both sides. I've not seen it from both sides in the match so far. So that's going to be interesting. Grandmasters are used to sacrifice material in normal chess. So this is not unknown territory for the Grandmaster. We already saw him use that spell really well
Yeah.
in one of the matches so far. So yeah, let's see what Portagas can do now in this match, in the game. But yeah, it's looking really good for Nidor being ahead 2-0 in the match with only 1 win left to win the tournament. We're waiting for the third game to start. It should start very soon, but I'm excited to see how this game will go.
Yeah, okay. So speaking about the third game, so here's the spells. So let's start with Portgas first. He's left with Slip, Tactical Necessity, and Pango Dive. While for Nydorf, he has Tactical Necessity, Parker Mech, and Queen Time. This is going to be very difficult. Yeah. This
He
is very,
saved Queen Time in the first 2 games? That's crazy.
Yeah,
What?
he was actually saving it.
It's
Look
not
at
even
that.
fair at this point. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
this is
yeah,
why
it's
you
really up
save
to
up those the
Portgas.
strong spells. Yeah.
Ima- Imagine you used that in the first game. You were supposed to win, but because Nightdorf is good in predicting, you've lost the match. Very unfortunate for Portgas, but still, he has this chance to turn the tides against Nightdorf. So if he wins this match, somehow he can reuse all the spells from the first round, and yeah, hopefully he can get this. But seeing the spells that Nightdorf has, Parker Mag, Queen Time, damn, this is going to be a challenge for Portgas.
Oh yeah, this already the start is looking very good for Night Earth, taking space in the center. Knight is very active on e4. The knight on d5 looks a bit loose, and there's no bishop in this game, so no need to worry about crazy bishop moves. But yeah, it's very worrying to see that Night Earth has these strong spells still available.
Yeah, I actually thought he was like left with those not so used spells, but I remembered in the first round he was not really using all those spells that he constantly used as we actually play in the rank match. So right now, as we can see, they're still in the middle game. Both have the 8 mana, 8 out of 8, and they haven't used any spells yet. So yeah, it's really unclear for the meantime.
Yeah, for now the knight on b4 is attacking the bishop on d3, but Night does not mind at all that the bishop is getting captured because the knight is quite a tricky piece. The bishop cannot really do much in this case because there's no bishop spell available. I guess for tactical necessity, the bishop can be useful if you really want to swap it for a knight or even a pawn. But other than that, the knight is such a strong piece. But hey, there we see the bishop swap to g6 with the use of
Yes,
Hengu Dive.
damn, and that threatens this knight on e4, and he really have to be kind of aggressive in this one because the spells that he have right now, I don't think he was really using these spells because I've seen most of his matches for like the game history. He doesn't really use that one, and that was an efficient use of tactical necessity, removing the threat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep, that bishop was very strong over there, out of the pawn chain,
Mm-mm.
and it was time to go. Oh, bishop
Yeah.
takes
Oh,
h6. He is throwing all the pieces out there.
damn. He is now
Ooh.
securing this game. Oh, he takes it. He
He
takes it.
takes it. Knight of 6 check.
Yeah. Knight of 6 check. No. Now
That's
what?
costing a queen. Ah, tactical
Oh.
necessity, of course.
But can you see what I see? I think it's game over.
I see.
I
I
think it's
think
game
I
over. I think it's game
already.
over.
Oh,
Oh, there's a mate. There's a
Queen time,
mate,
knight f6.
but there's a Kingsley. Yes, you're right. I just don't want to say it, but yeah. Damn.
oh.
There's the Queen h7, right? Queen h7, and that is unstoppable. And probably Portgas saw that. Oh, let's stop that. Oh no,
Ah.
it was already game over.
Knight of taking it
And
easy
now he
here,
starts.
developing the rook.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't want it to
Sneaky
end it
glide,
quickly,
diagonal strike.
right? Maybe he just wants to play with this
To play.
with these spells because I still have Parker Mech. I can convert my pawns into knights. Okay, just pressuring the opponent, and later on probably still gonna do that.
Yeah, and the knight can still get extra knights in the game, so the fact that he is down a piece now, it means absolutely nothing. The Black King is so
Yeah.
exposed as well, so yeah, this is just a rough situation for Black. But okay, it can still go anywhere. Oh, there comes another knight. Oh no.
Yeah, so if you have Parker Mech spell, basically you have two additional knights that's just waiting to replace your two pawns or some of your pieces. So I think it's inevitable to have that. Oh,
Ooh.
ooh,
Oh.
Wait, what?
He
oh!
takes that
Oh,
right
queen
away.
time.
Queen time on D8.
Oh,
Okay, I guess that's
that
it.
is
I guess that's
clutch.
it.
Ooh.
Yes, you're fighting against a master, and he has the material advantage. You have the spells that you don't like, so I'm guessing it's game over.
This is game over
I'm guessing,
indeed.
yeah. And then
The knight is trapped on
one more
D8, but
Parker Mech.
that's the problem. Another knight can appear on the board, for example on E5, and that's it.
Yeah. Oh no. I feel bad for Portgas for the first match, actually. I still reflect on that because that's the meta spells that I used as well. And right now, seeing this position, oh no, man. This is really unfortunate. But damn, if you compete against Nightdorf, I myself, I have, again, zero win streak. Zero win streak against Nightdorf. Yeah, I must admit, he's really a strong player, man. So, good job. Good job for this. So yeah, he's up in terms of time control, 2 minutes and 30 seconds against 1 minute and 30 seconds, but in the position, ah, damn, it's losing, man.
Yeah, this is this is game over, I think.
Yeah, there's nothing much to really think about it, but maybe with that slip opportunity, we don't know. Maybe Nydorf will give him a
Anything can
chance.
happen.
Diversion. Slip
Yeah.
You don't count him out just yet.
The thing about Pengu Dive is that you cannot use this on your pawns. So if you want to use like Pengu Dive from E3 to C1, that's not possible.
Imagine,
That
that
is
would be
not
crazy.
possible. But what he can do, probably C5 and then slip to D4, probably putting that two connected pawns to D and E. But since you're competing against a master, I don't think that will be possible in this state.
Knight of really taking it easy here.
Hmm.
Rook D4.
Slip
Maybe
to
that's
F1.
why he didn't do the checkmate.
Ooh.
Maybe that's why he didn't do the checkmate. What the? Damn.
Nice, nice.
Ooh,
Otherwise,
it's
slip indeed
cruel.
would have given the queen suddenly.
That's cruel.
Awesome. And then there's
It's
still
just
one more
advancing pawn
Parker
slowly.
mech. Yeah, there's still one more mech. This is simple chess. Oh no. Whew. There's only 3 slips remaining. I don't think that will work.
There comes
on
the
this
knight.
remaining pawns. Oh no.
Yeah, not really. As long as the king is on C3, nothing can really happen to white.
Yeah, and there's this reinforcement from this knight, and there's nothing black can do. Only with this Pengu dive, with this tactical necessity, he can only change or trade his bishop to knight. But that will be unfortunate because white still has a rook, a 1 rook up. That's going to be very difficult. Oh no, man. Poor Jess. This is really unfortunate.
It's crazy. Knight of has only 33 seconds, but it should still be in. It should be enough. Oh, king jump! I love it.
Maybe he can use that as a trick. Let's say he could have saved that for the bishop. He could have saved that Pengu dive for the bishop. Because somehow there's like a threat to d4 if that king goes to b2. just for like a lucky opportunity. But for this,
True.
he is really eliminating all the pieces, because without any piece and just the king against king and rook, that's a total annihilation and total loss for black. Oh
Ooh.
no, no piece, no major, no minor, just the king and the pawns and tactical necessity spell slip, three casts.
Fly
And slip,
as I
slip,
have
slip,
Let's
slip,
see,
always
slip.
flied.
let's see, let's see. Only two slip remaining.
Very clever.
Slip.
Okay,
Another slip.
A diagonal dash,
There you go.
okay,
quick as a flash.
but that will not really move forward because there's no enough pawns to do that. Maybe if there's like an F pawn, I think that will be dangerous for white. But seeing this,
Hmm.
oh no, there's only one slip spell, two tactical necessity that cannot be used because there's no enough piece
Oh,
for
Nandorf
black
only
to
have
use
4
that.
seconds.
Oh yeah, you're right. 4 seconds.
Oh, maybe that's the reason. Maybe that's the reason why
Ooh.
Podcast is holding on to this position in this situation.
Quiet as a whisper.
Maybe he
Ooh.
can turn the
Slip
tides.
and
Time?
sinister.
Time?
Wait. What?
Oh!
What?
Why he didn't
Neither
he
just
didn't
flagged
look
in
at
a
his
completely winning
time.
position.
What?
Damn! Anything can really happen in
Oh
chess.
my.
In chess.
Oh
Anything
Oh
goodness.
no.
can happen
Neither
in
was
any
really
chess.
taking it
Yeah.
too easy.
Now I feel bad for Nidorf. What just happened? It really turned the game from having a losing position into a win because of timed out. Damn. That's 2-1.
Wow. Incredible. What a game. And this is why you keep playing. You never know what may happen. And credit to Portgas. He was holding on there with the pawn slips and it actually worked out. He was able to make it very difficult for Nidorf. And because of that, Nidorf spent a lot of time. And then this is what happens. You're ahead on the clock and you can try to push for the flag.
Actually, it also happens in normal chess, right? If you can't win in the position, win in the time.
Exactly, exactly. And with that being said, we're going on a short break before we continue with the rest of the grand final of the preseason cup with Anichess. Stick around, stay where you are. We'll be back very shortly with the remaining of the grand final. See you soon.
See you soon.
Stick where you are.
We are back. We are continuing the grand final between Portgas and Nydorf. We're now in game 4. The score is 2-1 in favor of Nydorf. And Nydorf was about to win the match, John, but time happened. He ran out of time, and we're now back in game 4.
Yeah, we're here in game 4, and again, we really have to consider everything, every element of a chess game, of an Anichess game, not the spells, not the game itself alone, but also our time, since it's very important, because if you ran out of time, well, your opponent will win in timeout. So, yep, as per the rules, so since this is the game 4, the spells have been reset. So they can freely choose whatever spells they want to, but on the game 5, if that will happen, they cannot choose the spells that they have already used. So for this, let's discuss with Portgas. He used the metal spells, the Parker Mech, House Recruit, and Queen Time. But for Nydorf, he used Slip, Shot in the Dark, and Imposter. I'm guessing, yes, still, I believe that every spells have been mastered by Nydorf. But for this, let's watch how this game will work.
Once again, pieces are being traded off, but Queen Time is in Portgas's hands, so he can use that spell. And I guess it makes sense then to try to trade off pieces, because the lesser pieces are on the board, the harder it is to use Queen Time. And we see Bishop developing to G5. I wonder when Nydorf will develop the king side here, I mean, because it has not moved yet. But there you go, the first move is a slip.
You see how unpredictable Nydorf is. He can predict, but he's unpredictable. You can see that here he doesn't really want to kind of put a safety king on king side, but he really wants to put a pressure, since I don't see any Queen Time or House Recruit of Parker Mech in his spells, but he's using Slip, Shot in the Dark, and Imposter. So Portgas needs to be careful of that Imposter spell, because he doesn't have an Imposter in his spells arsenal, which means that he cannot revert back what Nydorf will do once he uses that Imposter spell.
Yeah, and even though Portgas has much stronger spells, I feel like, compared to Nydorf, I've seen Nydorf pull off the craziest things, so it honestly does not matter so much. You can give Nydorf any spell and he will make work. He will make it work. He will turn it into something beautiful. So let's just see what happens in the game. But for now, Portgas striking with knight takes b5. I love that.
Yeah, he kind of plans to have that exchange so that his bishop on a2 will go to b5 and really push a lot of pressure to black. But Nydorf just ignored that with that e5 pawn move, attacking the queen on d4 and that bishop on f4. Still, the knight on b5 is hanging, but with threats. But we can see that Nydorf is really, clever with this one. He knows what he's doing, and he's really unpredictable.
Queen to e3,
Queen
pinning the
time,
pawn
capture
on
the king.
e5. Oh! Oh yeah, that's a good thing to... Yeah, you looked at the chat, didn't you? Yeah, that's a good point. I believe you told me... Oh, wait! What is happening?
Yeah, that is the danger of having a House Recruit and Parker Mech in your spell arsenal. You can see that this is really dangerous. Oh, why did he do that? Because he's gonna capture the bishop too. But still, it's not done yet. We know how.
Yeah,
we know how this worked in the game 1.
Exactly, I've seen so much, especially with Imposter still around for Nydorf. I've seen a lot, so he could actually, he could swap the rooks, but not that it helps so much right now. Oh,
he used the the Shot in the Dark spell. We don't know where this.
Oh
we
no,
rook
not
will go.
again! Not again!
I'm thinking he captures the rook a2. That's one of the possibilities, or just attacking the knight. But it's really difficult to really guess.
Oh, it's gone.
Oh, where's that
Wait.
rook? Where is that rook?
The
It's
rook got
captured.
captured
A4.
like this?
What?
Was there a chance maybe it was on A3?
I was thinking it was an A3. Maybe.
Me too. And the pawn just like
At
A3,
least.
went through it.
It'll capture. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, what a clever exchange. What a clever exchange. And he saves that bishop on G7.
He wins the rook back, I guess. But yeah, that was crazy. That was a crazy capture with the pawn.
Yeah, this is still getting really difficult. That has a lot of pawns on the queen side, and okay, shot in the dark for another one. Is it
He
going
has
to
to
be
play
an
rook
A3
E1,
or
right?
A1? Another one, probably an A3. I don't know,
A3.
because if it's on E1, oh yeah, I got
Oh!
that correct. I predicted you, Najdorf.
Oh my gosh! And he just
This
takes
is what I'm telling
and
you.
wins more material. This is crazy.
Ooh.
Yeah, but there's this house recruit, so Najdorf has to be careful.
Yeah, that pawn's
Oh,
unstoppable.
that is too far. Now what is he gonna do? Oh no, there's a house recruit on E4 as well.
Oh, that hurts.
Takes the knight.
Yeah, this is game over.
Don't have to rush. Yeah. Damn. What is happening? This is
Easy.
a win for white.
Yeah, white
Anything
spells are
can
just
happen.
way too strong here.
Damn.
You can still try shot in the dark.
Shot in the
Okay,
dark.
but you move the king back.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the safest safest move that you can do. not to
No
not
more
to
shot in the
get
dark.
your king slain. Yes, no more shot in the dark, no more chances. Just the imposter and slip. Oh,
GG.
and white wins with
King
king
slay.
slain. Damn, that is 2-2. Najdorf against Portgas.
It has
Yeah,
come down
2-2.
all the way to the wire. The final game. Whoever wins this game is the winner. This is getting so
Another
exciting. Another one.
Yeah. And this goes for another one. All right. Damn, that was crazy. That game was crazy. You see?
Yeah, it was so messy. And Najdorf is still doing it, you know? He's still doing it with the shot in the dark. But now the problem is for Portgas. Where did his where is his spells going? He has the three strongest spells basically, what is most commonly used. He cannot use them anymore. And that may hurt his chances now, because now Najdorf can use those spells instead.
Yeah, but actually that gave him like that equal chance to get the champion spot for this tournament. So again, it's 2-2. So whoever wins this next game will be the champion of this tournament. So yeah, this will be like an upper hand for Najdorf because he can use the spells that he haven't used yet. But for Portgas, this is a chance that he can, grab if he really wants to win. But it's going to be difficult since you're facing a chess master.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so excited to see who is
Yeah.
going to prevail here. Both players have played amazingly. I mean, we thought Portgas was going to lose this much, like few games ago, but he's still in the race, and it's match point for both players now. So anything can happen, and yeah, the time here can be a major factor, because being low on time, even though you're completely winning, it can still lose you the game, which is crazy.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, we were just
But,
talking about the Bybit tournament. It's also best of 5 in the final match, and it was Karameru versus I actually forgot who that was.
Was that Big Oldoink?
But is it Bigodoing or Or Power Pure? No.
Or
I
or
actually
maybe
forgot.
that's Nidorf too. I think that's Nidorf too.
Is it Nidorf?
Yeah, it was
Was it
Nidorf.
Nidorf?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
it was him.
Nidorf.
Yeah,
Oh
actually, it was him.
wow. Okay. Yeah,
Mm.
and Nidorf was up 2-0, and then Karameru reverse sweep 3-2.
Yeah,
Oh my
speaking of,
gosh.
let's proceed to the final game.
Nidorf,
Is this it?
bro.
Oh, this is it. So Nidorf is now using the meta spells. So Nidorf has Parker Mech, House Recruit, and Queen Time, and Portgas has Slip, Bishop, and Imposter. Now again, we know Imposter is the major spell of Portgas, and Nidorf doesn't have an Imposter spell to counter that Imposter, but he has the meta spells.
Okay. He gave
Yeah,
away the
already
pawn
down a
on
pawn.
e4. I'm not sure if that was on purpose or maybe it was on purpose. I don't know because the bishop is getting really strong now on e4. I'm guessing that he's going to retreat it just to, or well, he could use bishop, I guess, if he really wants to. Another question: do you
Yeah,
want to
right now-
take on g2 or do you go back? It was back.
Well,
Interesting.
maybe he's used to taking a pawn on that square because of what happened recently from the previous round.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, that did
and
not
right
end
now,
well.
that did not really end well. But this game will determine who will be the true champion. So, yep, h5 getting aggressive there since he has fianchettoed his bishop on the queen side and tried to attack this king on the king side. And he has imposter bishop. Yeah.
Yeah, so not much of development from black side, but I like this position already. I mean, black is up a pawn, and I really like the h5 move. Since white already castled, why not just move that pawn forward and, using a slip to put that pawn on g4? That is interesting. I really like the way Portgas is playing here.
Yeah, but let's not forget that Nightdwarf has the meta spells. So that knight on e5 has threats on f7. Given that there's no h7 pawn, there's like threats of putting that house recruit on g6 and later on can really be useful for some attacking threats. But for this, imposter spell has been used. So adding pressure to the king side of white. Yeah, getting brutal.
I love that. That was such a nice bait. Now with the knight on g4, the king on g1 is looking very vulnerable. For now, it's still fine, but Nightdwarf has to be really careful here.
Yeah, and that h3 is somehow opening the opportunity for Bishop, because if he takes that... Oh! Did you see what I'm seeing? Oh no, that's the end. That's the end.
Is that bishop? That's it?
Yeah, there's a Bishop. There's a Bishop. There's a Bishop that's ready to be used. And I think that's the end. We have the champion. Black wins. Porcus.
Wow.
Porcus won that match. Oh. Damn.
What a way to win. This is unbelievable, John. Portgas winning the whole tournament in this fashion. Wow.
He did a great job there. Imagine losing that first two rounds, and now you're winning the next succeeding rounds. Damn, it happened like twice for Nightdwarf. I don't know, but congratulations to Portgas.
Congratulations. What a way to win. I'm still in shock. That last game ended so quickly and in such a beautiful way. And he did not even have the most beneficial spells. He just made it happen with what he has. And wow, I'm just incredibly impressed. That was so cool. And yeah, Portgas was losing the match. He was down 2-0. He was about to lose his third game, and he would lose the match altogether. And he just wins 3 in a row on demand. That is incredible and shows what a fighter Portgas is. And, well, both of them deserve to win, but Portgas turned out to be the winner after all. So congratulations to Portgas. He wins the prize of $3,000 and is crowned the champion of the preseason cup.
Damn, congratulations, Podcast. I have a theory that probably Nidorp is just preventing himself to win a tournament because this happened 2 times. So, still, congratulations to Podcast. Actually, he's just giving opportunities, right? So, damn, congratulations, Podcast. See you soon.
That's absolutely amazing. Oh, you're going to see him soon. You ready to take him down yourself?
No. Not in an Anichess match, but for a friendly gathering. That's 3,000
okay,
USD.
I see.
That's it, brother.
Amazing.
All right.
We almost had a Dutchie win. Almost. We got so close.
Yeah, maybe you would love to meet him because he's really a great chess player. He's a good friend as well. And maybe we can have a chance to invite him over here later on. So, yeah, while we're waiting for him, maybe I can just talk about I can just talk about our experience way back when we first joined the tournament. At first, I didn't know who Portgas was. But when I met him personally, oh man, I knew you. You were in the age group under 14, under 12. Yeah, I remember him.
Aww,
we were
that's
playing against each
amazing.
other. Yeah.
Oh,
so
like back
we're
in
kind
the
of,
day.
Yeah, back in the day. So
Oh,
we're like
that's
competitive,
amazing.
Players. The thing is, I stopped because things have changed. But he's still competing, so it's good to connect with this, old friends and still friends. By the way.
Such a small world, right? You still
Indeed.
see people from back in the day. It's so amazing. So yeah, we
Really,
will
really.
have the winner join with us very soon. Just checking real quick if we should go to a break or are we going to have Portgas join us right away?
Yeah, maybe let's just keep going because I can't really tell how Nider feels about this, but maybe I really have this theory that he doesn't really want to win. He just really didn't want to win.
It's not the first time.
Yeah, because it's not the first time. So maybe he's just giving his opponent an opportunity to champion these tournaments. And yeah, kudos to him. I love how he plays. He is indeed a strong
Me
fighter.
too.
And yeah, don't forget that he's a chess master. That's why he's really tough. Congrats.
His play is so inspiring. I mean, he finished second place, still very much deserved. And he also goes home with a prize. He wins $2,000. So that's still a big prize.
Damn.
And yeah, he played amazing Anichess. I mean, that was so fun to watch. Got so much inspiration, like the way that he just like reads the minds of the opponents. It's like a whole other level of chess. And I mean, he's a grandmaster. It comes really in handy to be a grandmaster, but being able to predict your opponent's moves this way with the spells, that requires another skill set. And he has that. It's so unique. And it was so fun watching his games. But Portgas is the winner of the tournament, and he will be joining us very soon. I'm so excited to speak to him and talk about the match because this match was so crazy.
Yeah, it was really crazy. You see, it's not even the meta spells that he used in that last game, but still he managed to win. Actually, I think it was short, right? It was really short. Because after h5, then slip to g4, then after series of moves, bang, rook h1. And then
Yes,
the game
like
ended.
knight a8, knight went to e4, this imposter move. That was clutch as well. He used all the spells basically, and he managed to win with all 3 spells. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's an efficient way on how you can actually use your spells and at the same time look at the mana. Oh, speaking of, I guess we have podcast here.
Podcast!
Podcast! Podcast!
Do we have Portgas here? Can we hear him? I don't hear him just yet.
Hey,
I don't know if you can
podcast!
hear us.
Can you hear us? Can we hear you? Or maybe he's not speaking yet. Yeah, but we have
Hello?
Portgas here, the champion. Oh, there he is. That hello is intimidating.
Congratulations!
Hi.
Congrats,
Good
man.
evening, everyone.
Podcast!
Portgas champion. Here we go with the champ.
Portgas, that was incredible. Congratulations. First of all, how do you feel?
I feel great. Like I just got lucky in the third game because his time out.
Oh yeah, about the third game. I think you were about to lose that match, but he got timed out, right?
Yeah.
I think he's
Yeah.
having an internet problem.
I think so too.
Yeah, can you still hear us? Portgas?
Internet problem and still wins the game.
Damn! You see, that is kind of handicap, right? That really adds up.
And we could
Damn.
not really
There's so
notice
much
it, during
pressure.
the games. He was playing so well, and he's so fast.
Damn. Maybe that's the reason why you win this tournament. To kind of upgrade your internet right now and have a better connection for more Anichess tournaments to join to.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah, actually. Because, just to be honest with you guys, here in the Philippines, the internet is really our problem. But thanks to these opportunities, we have the chance to fix that. So probably he can join us. He can join us later on. More Anichess. And maybe we can just thank him. I don't think he can really join us because of what's happening in his internet. But Brother Portgas, thank you for joining in this tournament. We really love how you played that one. Really love how you played with that last game. I'm really intrigued. How did you do that? Oh no, but yeah.
Me too. That was so amazing.
Mhm.
I'm really impressed. And congratulations to Portgas once again. But before we wrap up the show, let us remind the viewers that we are going to have an epic showdown between none other than Magnus Carlsen and Eric Hansen happening on the 13th of March. 13th of March, in 2 days from now. These two will be playing against each other in Anichess. They'll be facing each other, and this is going to be an epic battle as we will have this match live streamed on the Anichess game Twitch channel, but Magnus and Eric will both be streaming on their channels as well. So it's going to be super exciting to follow this match. And yeah, I mean, usually we ask each other, like, who is a favorite here? But both players, I think, don't have much experience playing Anichess. So I'm really excited to see how they will be using the spells, how quickly they will pick up on which spells are good, which spells should I be going for, and how to counter the opponent's spells. So I'm really looking forward to that match.
Same. I really look forward to that match, and you guys should also look forward to that by following us on our socials, Anichess on Twitter, Facebook. We're also on TikTok, by the way. And we're going to make more contents of this, and also there's lots of patches that's going to come. So better study every spells if you have the time, because again, if you mastered it on the first season, then the next succeeding season, you should definitely check it out, because you never know what are the next changes. Like me, I used to play with this queen time that's going to eat the king, but when I came back, oh no, what happened? I cannot take the king anymore because there's a patch that you cannot take the king, but you can take the queen. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
That was
congrats.
wonderful. Congratulations to
Actually,
the winners.
congratulations.
4 players today playing amazing Anichess. It was amazing following their games, and Portgas winning the tournament altogether. Here we have the bracket one more time. And what a tournament it was, with so many participants from the qualifiers heading into the playoffs. We had 64 players in the playoffs, and that all resulted in today, with Portgas ending up as the winner. So, with that being said, John, let's wrap up the show. It was a blast commentating together with you. It was also
Yeah.
awesome to have Chef join us and cheering on.
massive congratulations to Portgas. Sorry, I sound like
We
I
just
was
have a
lagging
hymen
for
over
like
here.
2
It's
minutes.
incredible.
But yeah,
I love
in all
it. It was great
seriousness,
having
I think
you
this
around.
tournament. Yeah, I think this tournament has over 50k like entries, and we basically have over 150k viewers on this stream in the finals. So I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you, like screaming out there, or it's just watching the match out there with us. We will have more and more tournaments coming up, so make sure you follow us on our Twitter, join our Discord, chat with our community, because your voice will make a difference in the game. So yeah, stay tuned for the Thursday match between Magnus and Hansen. There will also be 2 special VIPs playing against Magnus, which is Mr. Yatsu, co-founder and chairman of Animoca Brands, and Luca Nets, which is the CEO of Pudgy Penguins. They will be fighting Magnus Carlsen as well. So
Wow.
make sure you tune in for the AMA and also the stream. But yeah, with that said, thank you very much, Anna and John, with your professional, hyped, and superb commentating together with me. And we love
You're the
you
goat, man.
all.
It was a blast.
Step beyond tradition. With a drop of magic. Clash in epic battles where magic reshapes strategy. Unleash spells to transform the game. Attack! Defend! Trick! Master them all! Ready to duel in the realm of magic?